the award ceremony to end all award ceremonies. Hopefully. Here's your host, Tom.
Welcome, one and all, to the 4th annual Culties. And if this is your first time, you're like, what the hell? Why am I watching this podcast thing about a guy that looks like a bum? And well, normally, I'm so sorry this is your first year watching the Culties, but it is an award show full of glitz and glamour and celebrities where I'd wear a suit. But then I saw what Hollywood puts out this year, and if they're not going to put any effort into what they release, then neither am I, because this is going to be low effort. That being said, it's an award show where we basically give awards to films that haven't come out yet, aka a preview of the year ahead in film, a little bit of video games, and television. And yet, even though this is really hokey and pretty crap, it's more legit than the Golden Globes already, because there is a way of watching this, number one. Number two, there is someone here. Say hi, Seymour. He's on the floor there. Also, you know, we don't take money for awards. It's not that we don't take money. No one has sent money, but you can send money, you know. But that way we won't be better than the Golden Globes, I suppose. But yeah, if this is your first year, basically this is a preview of the year ahead in film. And yeah, I kind of cut it back to the bone at the last minute, which is why we're stuck here. And I made a lot of promises to some commercial partners, who I should mention actually. Water, get wet, drink it, or you'll die. Thank you for sponsoring the show. They gave us this amazing setup, which you can't really see, I guess, if you're listening to it, but if you're watching it, oh boy, they spared no expense, right guys? It's also the first time we've ever had an actual Cultie award to give away. Right here, look at it there, in all its glitz and glamour. Imagine a film could be going home with this night. Oh, that's his arm falling off. Yes, it could be going home with this glamorous award as it glints in the light. Pure beauty, if I do say so myself. You can see that in the video version. It has to be the film that wins an award in a category and also is in my top 10. Could you imagine? Of course, if it wins a category, it's probably going to be in my top 10, but anyway, I should be careful with this clearly. It's very privileged. Anyway, we should get on with this. We have categories for each section. The way this works is that a film can basically only be in one category. There's a load of different categories. Some are sarcastic. I also took a lot of films out that were delayed. And that brings me also to our drinking rules. If you want to play along at home and if you want to drink, here are our drinking rules. Okay, if I mention Chris Pratt, Brad Pitt, Channing Tatum, or Sandra Bullock, take a drink. If I mention The Avengers, Batman, or Spider-Man, take a drink. If I mention a movie has been delayed, take a drink. Outside of the category for specifically delayed movies, I should say. If Netflix gets mentioned, take a drink. If I try to brush off liking a stupid movie, finish your drink. If I'm like, oh, I don't know why I'm excited for this, that kind of thing. If I make a terrible pop culture reference, finish your drink. And if I say, I don't know who this movie is for, finish your drink. Man, you're going to get tanked. But anyway, hopefully the next two films won't tank, because our first category at the 4th annual Culties, get ready Seymour, is something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. Right. This is a confusing one because I had to nix a few categories. Last year this was the Everything Old is New Again, which was for reboots, remakes, and things we've seen before. But I also had to basically, you know, merge it with the sequel category a bit because we're kind of short on films this year. This is a year in Hollywood where it's starting to show that basically last year was like films that were affected by the coronavirus in production. This year it's like, man, they weren't able to get some films in production, and because of that, it's a little bit thin this year. But this is for films that are old, aka remakes, and new, I guess that they're remakes and reboots. Something borrowed, aka, again, taking an idea we've already seen, and something blue. Two of our films involve blue things. Anyway, our first entry is an interesting one. A video game movie. Could it be the one to break a video game curse? That category has also gone this year, so I've thrown the video game movies in here, including the Mario movie, a feature adaptation of Mario made by Illumination, who gave us Despicable Me, Secret Life of Pets, etc. The voice cast includes Chris Pratt, first drink of the night, ladies and gentlemen, as Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. So I'm going to run through all these nominees and I'm going to pick which one I'm most looking forward to in that category. I also should say the Mario movie is only interesting because it is kind of an oddity and that Nintendo normally is very protective of their IP. But here it seems it kind of goes against their usual MO and looks like they would go with something that Nintendo normally wouldn't like. It's directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jenick, best known for their work on Teen Titans Go, including the movie, which was quite enjoyable. Written by Matthew Fogel, who has a story credit on the Lego Movie Part 2, and writer of the upcoming Minions Rise of Gru. That comes out December 21st. Also a video game movie this year is Uncharted, which is based, of course, on the Sony video game franchise and comes from director Ruben Fleischer, who gave us Venom and Zombieland. It's a prequel to the video game series and features the young Nathan Drake, played by Tom Holland, and how he came to meet his mentor and partner, Victor Sully Sullivan, played by Mark Wahlberg, and their quest to find the greatest treasure never found and discover clues that may lead them to Drake's long-lost older brother. The villain is Moncada, played by Antonio Banderas, seeks to stop them as well. Writers include those responsible for Transformers: The Last Night and Men in Black International. Oh boy. Hit cinemas February 18th, very soon. Another franchise that's desperately trying to cling on to life. Fantastic Beasts: The Secret of Dumbledore. Secrets? Who cares? Professor Albus Dumbledore knows the powerful dark wizard Gellert Grindelwald is moving to seize control of the wizarding world. Unable to stop him alone, he entrusts magizoologist Newt Salamander to lend an intrepid team of wizards, witches, and one brave muggle baker on a dangerous mission where they encounter old and new beasts and clash with Grindelwald's growing legion of followers. Oh, yawn. Okay, it's written by J.K. Rowling. And Steve Kloves wrote nearly all the Harry Potter movies, I think, at least maybe from maybe except one of them, I can't remember, maybe not Order of the Phoenix. J.K. Rowling wrote the first two. Basically, they're trying to wrangle her because the last two weren't great. Directed by David Yates, who's done every Harry Potter film since Order of the Phoenix. This is really hitting higher than the Harry Potter connections if you've seen the latest trailer, and also the title is very obvious. It stars Eddie Redmayne as Newt Salamander, Jude Law as Albus Dumbledore, Ezra Miller as Aurelius Dumbledore. I guess that's actually a spoiler. Who cares? I didn't even see the second one and I don't care. And Mads Mikkelsen takes over from Johnny Depp in the role of Grindelwald. Comes out April 15th. Should we add a drinking rule where if I stumble over a summary you can drink? I mean, you probably won't last very long, but hey, whatever, I got your view. That's all that matters. Ha ha ha. Oh man. Unless you're drinking water. Thank you to our sponsor. The next one, another long gestating sequel, is Jurassic World Dominion, which I believe, I don't know if I talked about it last year, but I think it's been moved around and delayed a bit. Takes place 4 years after the previous film, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Not much is known about this plot details-wise, except that it will pick up where the last one left off, taking us around the world, in a world in which humans and dinosaurs now coexist. Will it be peaceful? Will it fuck? Of course it won't be. Colin Trevorrow will return to direct. He directed 2015's Jurassic World, and we also get the return of Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, but more interestingly, the return of Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum for the first time all together since the original film in 1993. That drops June 10th. Creed 3, another return. Adonis Creed returns for another round with Creed 3, portrayed once more by Michael B. Jordan, who this time also makes his directorial debut. Script is coming from Zach Baylin, who wrote King Richard, and Keenan Coogler, who worked on Space Jam: A New Legacy. Of course, the story comes from Ryan Coogler, who directed the first film and basically was in charge of this reboot, so that's his brother that does writing. Tessa Thompson also returns, and Jonathan Major has joined the cast. We don't know much else about the film, except that Sylvester Stallone will not return as Rocky Balboa, making it the first entry without him in the series. That film hits November 23rd. Another film hoping to hit this year, but will it? At one point this was scheduled for 2014, along with pretty much every year in human history. After that, it was meant to come out December 2015, and 2016, and 2017, 2018, 2020, and now 2022. Will it make it? Avatar 2. This is the first of 4 sequels to Avatar, which to this day is the highest grossing film of all time. It was Avengers, and then it got just beat it again on a re-release. Not much is known except that it will take place several years after the original film and explore the oceans of Pandora. James Cameron once again returns to direct and co-writes the film with Josh Friedman, who was written for Snowpiercer, the TV series, and has a story credit on Terminator Dark Fate. Sam Worthington returns because God knows what else he's going to do, along with the return of Zoe Saldana, CCH Pounder, Sigourney Weaver, and Stephen Lang. Also returns somehow, and apparently Vin Diesel is in as well. Yeah, so some dead characters return, and also Vin Diesel's there. It comes out December 16th, if it can be bothered to do so. Maybe they'll just say, should we release these? I don't know. Then again, I guess they spent like $1 billion. Here's another one. And man, move over Avatar. Downton Abbey is back, motherfucker. A sequel to the movie based on the series, which was a massive hit based on a very small budget. Series creator Jonathan Fellows returns to write the sequel and is directed by Simon Curtis. I'm sure there's a plot summary out there, but that's Downton Abbey, you know what you're getting, right? April 29th. Another video game movie, a sequel to the surprise hit of 2020, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sees the introduction of Tails and Knuckles as Sonic and Tails work together to try and stop the Master Emerald from falling into the hands of Dr. Eggman, or Dr. Robotnik, depending on what argument you were on the side of in your childhood. Then he is researching with the help of Knuckles the Echidna. Ben Schwartz returns to voice Titular Hedgehog. Colleen O'Shaughnessy, who voices Tails in many of the games, is also voicing Tails. And we have Idris Elba voicing Knuckles, which is, I'm sure, it's taken off someone's fantasy, I'm sure. The human cast once again features James Marsden and Jim Kay, returning for a very rare sequel for him. Jeff Fowler directs again, and the original writers return with the addition of John Whittington, who is credited as a writer of the Lego Batman movie, raised into cinemas April 8th. Right, let's have a look at these. This category. Okay, I'm going to go through each film, whether it interests me or not. Mario movie. Again, outside of the fact that it is something different and we don't really get Nintendo movies, not really. I mean, it feels more like an Illumination movie than a Mario movie or a Nintendo movie, and that's kind of disappointing. But I have a kind of a morbid curiosity. Could I say that for a Mario film? A morbid curiosity. But yeah, not really up my street. Uncharted. I love the Uncharted games. Nothing about this appeals to me. Ruben Fleischer is a very inconsistent director. The scriptwriters don't fill me any confidence, and neither have the trailers. It's out pretty soon, and I have zero hype for it. Again, I don't think Tom Holland is Nathan Drake. I like Tom Holland, but I think he basically put out his, like, didn't he say something like not that long ago that he was like, oh, he's like already distanced himself from the movie and his performance. Like, so that doesn't really inspire confidence. Fantastic Beasts: The Secret of Dumbledore. Man, this movie looks pathetic. Like, the trailers for this are so like, remember Hogwarts? Remember Hufflepuff? Oh, 5 points to them. Oh, it's like so desperate and clingy, and it's like, man, obviously you screwed up the last one. No one cares about it. Why is it even called Fantastic Beasts? Shove that guy in there, Eddie Redmayne or whatever. I like Mads Mikkelsen. That's the only thing that would get me interested in it, but I didn't bother seeing the second one, and I didn't care for the first one, so nothing for me there. Jurassic World Dominion. I mean, like, I like Jurassic World, but it's also the thing where I'm like, I don't really care for it as a franchise. I thought the last one wasn't very good either. I liked the idea of the original cast here, and I like that they've just finally been like, right, whatever, there's dinosaurs all over the world. Aside of that, from that though, I think it's just going to be dumb action. I don't really care for it. Creed 3 is a weird one for me, right? Because I like the Creed movies, but I'm also not passionate enough to be like, oh yes, new Creed. I'll watch it when it comes out. You know, I'd be happy to watch it. I'll see it probably as soon as it comes out. But I'm not like mad, like foaming at the mouth, being like, oh, we need more Adonis Creed. Oh, no. I'm just like, hey, it'll probably be good. Last two were pretty good. This will be good, and I'll see it because it'll probably be good. Also, Jonathan Majors is in it, and I like him. Avatar 2. This is one of those ones where it's just like such a big question mark, because obviously I didn't like Avatar, and everyone on the internet is like, who's this for? This had no cultural relevance or no cultural impact. Yeah, despite being the biggest grossing film ever. And people are still talking about it for that reason, I guess. Yeah, like, I remember one of the earliest reviews I ever wrote was for Avatar, and I wasn't that into the film, but I said this, and it's still true today. James Cameron, you can never rule him out with a sequel. Terminator, good film. Terminator 2, amazing film. Alien, really good film when Ridley Scott made it. He made a sequel. Whoa, really up the thing. And you can never cross him out. I'm just interested in seeing a film that's been taking this long and what it offers to the table. I'm more interested to see the box office perform as well. But I will say, I have a real curiosity towards this film. Not a morbid curiosity, just a general curiosity, I guess. Downton Abbey, I've never seen the show. You know, it'll appeal to Downton Abbey fans. I'm just not one of them. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I liked the first film well enough. But then again, I wasn't like, oh, I need to see the second one. I need it. So yeah, for me, I guess, nothing here really grabs me. But Avatar 2, I'm really curious about. And again, it might be the sort of thing that when I see footage and hear more about it, that my interest is immediately waned and satisfied. But it is that question. Can James Cameron pull this off? It's really, really interesting. So for me, the winner of the everything old, something old, something new, something borrowed and something blue. I was thinking of last year's award. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. The winner for me is Avatar 2. See what I did there? Sonic is blue and Avatar is blue. Hey. Anyway, that's our first category down. But our next category, at an award show, we're going to talk about what goes on in other award shows. This award, oh man, I've said that word too many times. You're so lucky I didn't put award in the drinking game. You'd be tanked already. The award goes to award. This is where we highlight a film that could get some love in award season. Now, I should say a disclaimer as I do every year. Award season can easily be very wide open because all it takes is one film to go to Sundance or, Toronto or one of these massive film festivals, Cannes, and then it does well at the festival, and then all of a sudden it's a front runner. Last year I picked Judas and the Black Messiah, which I maybe got some award attention. But again, the other thing is that the award shows are now like April. So I'm guessing I'm talking for like the films that come out this year. So yeah, that gets confusing. But anyway, these are ones that I think might get the Academy's attention. Killers of the Flower Moon. Scorsese's latest film based on the non-fiction book by David Gran is about members of the Osage tribe in the United States who are murdered under mysterious circumstances in the 1920s, sparking a major FBI investigation involving J. Edgar Hoover. The script is written by Eric Roth, whose credits include Forrest Gump, A Star is Born in June. You should check out this guy's, like, it's amazing how he's written. Also some bad stuff, which is like, where you're like, how did the guy who wrote this write that, like, you know? Cast includes Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Jesse Plemons, and Brendan Fraser. Good on you, Brendan Fraser. The Brendan Renaissance is here. The Renaissance? Is that what we're calling it? It's also just cool because DiCaprio and De Niro are finally together. Like, two of, like, Marty Scorsese's, like, men, you know, his two big guys. Although it was really annoying because I was, like, going to be like, this is the first time. And then they spent, like, they did, like, some shitty short film for a casino for 75 million that they were both in. So I was like, oh, so it's not their first collab, I guess. It was directed by Scorsese, and, you know, it's like, man, really sour that there. Meanwhile, it's like, oh, superhero movies are bad, but I can make a short film about a casino. Oh, and by the way, not like the casino Scorsese's in. I'm just talking like it was an ad for a casino or something. It was a very thinly thing. It also starred Brad Pitt, I think. Oh, Brad Pitt gets another name there, another drink. It's co-financed and co-distributed by Paramount and Apple TV Plus after Paramount apparently balked at the budget, went north of 200 million. No firm date, but it is expected out by year end. Yeah, the rumours around all this was that it was too expensive, and Paramount was like, Jesus, there's no way we can make money back in this. And Apple was like, hey, we don't need to make money on anything because no one buys Apple TV Plus. Anyway, next one. David O. Russell's next film does not have a title, but he's the director of such films as American Hustle and Silver Linings Playbook. He returns with his first film since 2015 that is yet to be titled, and we don't know much about it except that it is a period film that sees a doctor and a lawyer form an unlikely partnership. It's assembled one of the best casts, no joke, that I've maybe ever seen. Includes Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Rami Malek, Zoe Saldana, Robert De Niro, Mike Myers, Timothy Olyphant, Michael Shannon, Chris Rock, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Taylor Swift. And that's not even the whole cast. So it's expected to release November 4th, 2022. No other details are announced. We'll see how that one goes. The Fabelmans, Spielberg's next film. Again, Spielberg always gets a bit of award consideration there. Semi-biographical film. That's a coming-of-age drama inspired by his growing up in Arizona. It features a cast including Michelle Williams, Seth Rogen, and Paul Dano. The film is co-written by Tony Kushner, who most recently collaborated with Spielberg on West Side Story, but also worked with him on Munich and Lincoln. This is also Spielberg's first film since Munich to be put out by Universal Pictures. Comes out November 23rd. It's an interesting one. We'll talk about that one a bit more in a sec. Babylon. Damien Chazelle, writer and director of La La Land and Whiplash's latest film, is apparently a period piece set in Hollywood. It stars Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie, along with Olivia Wilde and Tobey Maguire, who apparently also produces it, strange enough. Again, it has a very impressive cast. It's expected to release in a limited capacity December 25th. So if you're hoping to see this before the end of the year, you might be disappointed. It'll be a limited capacity to get award consideration and then probably open wider in the following year. Then we have 13 Lives. Ron Howard directs a survival drama based on the 2018 Thai cave rescue, which saw a junior Thai football team trapped in a flooded underground cave with their coaches for 18 days. Members of the rescue team include Viggo Mortensen, Colin Farrell, and Joel Edgerton, currently set for April 15th. That was that Thai cave thing. Remember where Elon Musk called that guy a pedo? Is that an outdated cultural reference? Maybe you have to finish your drink for that one. I don't know. But yeah, that's where it's weird how that was like. I remember that. Man, life is weird. Another one, and I'm kind of cheating here. When it comes to award seasons, one of 3 musical biopics that are apparently getting this year, because there's a lot of them. First one is Baz Luhrmann's Elvis biopic. Baz Luhrmann, of course, gave us Moulin Rouge. I totally misread that. And Great Gatsby. Elvis is played by Austin Butler. He's the king, of course. And Tom Hanks is Colonel Tom Parker, his manager. It's set for release June 24th. Kenneth Branagh is also apparently making a Bee Gees film from a script by Ben Elton. We have no other details, including cast. Apparently coming out November 4th. It definitely isn't. But we'll just put it here anyway. December 23rd is also when we're getting a Whitney Houston biopic directed by Kazi Lemons and starring Naomi Aki titled I Wanna Dance With Somebody. Is that an outdated cultural reference? Man, I hope not. Anyway, that is the award. Goes to award. This is kind of always a weird category because it's like, which one do I want to see or which one do I think is going to win awards? Okay, let's go through them. Killers of the Flower Moon. I read some of this book. It was really, really good. Really interesting. I am kind of interested because the book is told in like 3 different sections, so I'll be interested to see if they kind of mess with the format there, the structure. But again, like it's Scorsese, seemingly with an unlimited blank check. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro, so you can't not be excited about it. David O. Russell, again, the Academy loves him. Awards season always loved this guy. I think he's massively overrated, personally. but it's got a great cast. It could be good. I don't know. I'm obviously going to check it out, but it's not something I'm personally very interested in. The Fablemans. This is a tough one for me, man, because I do love Spielberg. And I think this is a different enough film for him. But coming of age films don't really do much for me personally. So I'm not really sure. I don't know. Again, I'm sure I'll get some awards or notice. But then again, it's got a very strange cast. Like Seth Rogen is one of your chief people with in the Steven Spielberg movie. Just a bit odd. Like Paul Dano, Michelle Williams, and you're like, Seth Rogen, how did he get in here? Who let him in? Babylon, again, Damien Chazelle, this will definitely get a lot of awards love. They loved La La Land. They loved Whiplash. I don't see, again, and again, they love movies about Hollywood, and this is about Hollywood apparently, so why wouldn't they? 13 Lives by Ron Howard. Ron Howard has to be like the least consistent director when it comes to these award movies. Sometimes they're god-awful, sometimes they're very good. I don't think this is going to be very good, personally. I haven't seen a trailer for it. I don't know if the trailer is even out for it, but it just doesn't seem necessary to me, really. It's something that's so recent, and again, it just feels like a bit try-hard, personally. The musical biopics, the one I'm only interested in, and I'm not a Baz Luhrmann fan, but the Elvis one does appeal to me because I like Elvis's music more than the rest of them. Again, I don't think we're going to see that BG movies this year. The Whitney Houston biopic, I'm like, I don't know enough about Whitney Houston. Maybe it's fascinating. I don't know. But then again, Tom Hanks and Baz Luhrmann, I just want to see how that style works. I think it'd be very interesting because, like, I don't know, like, maybe I'm wrong about Elvis and Baz Luhrmann, but those styles, I'm like, do they go together? Not really. So for me, this is kind of easy because I feel I have reservations about nearly every film on this list except for Killers of the Flower Moon, which I'm going to give the award goes to award 2 this year. I think it looks good. I think there's a lot of potential here. Be very interesting, but we'll move swiftly along because we don't want this award show to be long and boring like other award shows. No, we want it to be quick and fast. We want action! Which brings us to our next category. Lights, camera, and action. But mostly the last one. Because we're going to talk about the action movies coming out this year. And look, this is always a tough one as well. We haven't had an action genre before, and here's why. Because normally, action films have been kind of replaced by certain things. Like, they've been replaced with superhero films, or it's like a sequel, and I've been able to put them in other categories. But this year I was like, let me make an action category and highlight what's going out. I don't know, was that a good choice when I see the films here? Because some of them I'm like, ooh, weird. Anyway, the first one that's coming at us, and I mean coming right at us, Moonfall. Directed by Roland Emmerich, baby. The world is end. He's back, motherfucker. Guess what? Based on the title, one guess. What do you think is happening in this movie? Moonfall. Tick tock, tick tock. Yep, that's right. The moon is knocked from its orbit, and it is... it's knocked by its orbit from an unknown force. Oh, is that going to be aliens? Ooh. Put into a collision course with Earth. 2 astronauts and a conspiracy theorist, because of course, work together in an attempt to avert disaster and discover that the moon is not what it seems. Stars Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson. It's one of the most expensive independent films ever, apparently, with a budget of 140 million. I don't know how he swung that. Somehow, it just doesn't seem enough. 140 million still sounds kind of low for a movie where the moon could potentially crash into the Earth. February 4th, really soon. Might even might come out before this video, to be honest. The Lost City. A reclusive romance novelist on a book tour with her cover model gets swept up in a kidnapping attempt that lands them both in a cutthroat jungle adventure starring Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, Daniel Radcliffe as the villain, and Brad Pitt, coming out March 25th. Oh man, I just realised that means 3 sips. Yeah, Brad Pitt's in a lot of stuff this year, and also Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock. Then we have Ambulance. William Sharp, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, is a war veteran who desperately needs $231,000 for his wife's surgery. He reaches out to Danny, Jake Gyllenhaal, his adopted brother, and a lifelong criminal who talks him into taking part in a $32 million bank heist. $32 million, I guess, bank heist. The robbery goes wrong when they shoot an LAPD officer. The pair are soon on the run in an ambulance with an EMT, played by Isa Gonzalez, and the dying officer, and as their hostage... Jesus Christ, get to the point. Okay? Yeah, basically, she's a hostage, and so is the dying guy. It's based on a 2005 Danish film. This is directed by Michael Bay. Described as... I love how they put this caveat in there as well. It's described as Michael Bay moving away from his standard explosion-heavy fare. I saw the trailer. You're not moving that far. This is like a trip downstairs. This isn't like moving around the block. This is like a walk from the couch to the fridge. It comes out March... No, it doesn't. It comes out April 8th. My apologies. April 8th. Then we have Bullet Train. Man, that's a great name for an action movie, isn't it? 5 assassins find themselves on a Japanese bullet train, realizing that their individual assignments are all interconnected. Dun, dun, dun. Directed by David Leitch, director of Atomic Blonde, John Wick, and Deadpool 2. Great cast. Who do you think is going to be in it? Do you think it's going to be Brad Pitt? I hope you did, because you should have taken a drink for that one. Andrew Koji, Joey King, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Zazie Beetz, and Sandra Bullock. I forgot she was in this one. She's in it as well, so take another drink. July 15th. If you're still conscious and sober, well done. Then we have Operation this is one where I'm trying to figure out it. Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre. Anyway. Rise of War? I don't know. Is that French? Guy Ritchie's latest sees super spy Orson Fortune. Jason Statham and his team of top operatives recruit Hollywood's biggest movie star, Danny Francesco, played by Josh Hartnett. Only in a film could Josh Hartnett be a major Hollywood actor. To help them on an undercover mission to stop billionaire's arm broker, Greg Simmons, Hugh Grant, from selling a deadly new weapons technology that threatens to disrupt the world order. Billed as an action comedy, it also stars Aubrey Plaza and Carey Elways. March 18th. Well, that is our action category. Do you see what I mean by I don't normally have an action category? Okay, Moonfall. Roland Emmerich, it's like, yeah, enjoyable fluff that might be fun to watch on a big screen. It is kind of weird though, like conspiracy theorists. Like, that feels like such a 90s book. Like, but back then conspiracy theories were fun, you know? It was like, oh, the moon landing. Did it happen? Who killed JFK? Now it's like, oh, fucking, the election was rigged. Don't have a vaccine. Don't put stuff in your water. Oh, it's like, Jesus, man. I hope this conspiracy theory is one of the old-fashioned fun ones. You know, it's like, oh, he's a bit of a funny crackpot. Not like, hey, man, do you see what's going on in the dark web? White power, am I right? Jesus, what? That's not a conspiracy theory. Oh, man. Oh, please don't take that clip out of context. Yeah, no interest in this. I will see it because it's a big, dumb action movie. And, hey, isn't that fun to see in a cinema? The Lost City. Right, here's one that's interesting. When I heard this, I was like, dumb. This isn't for me. It's, again, a reclusive romance novelist. So basically Sandra Bullock is a romance writer who writes these kind of like adventure romances. And her cover model, and basically she gets taken hostage, put into basically one of her novels where the cover model has to act like the actual hero that he obviously isn't. And she has to act like the damsel in distress. It looks a lot like a kind of a Romancing in the Stone one. I enjoyed the hell out of this trailer. Watch the trailer, seriously, man. It was fun. I don't think it's going to be necessarily funny. Do I think the movie is going to sustain its runtime? Probably not. But again, really went up in my estimation. And I can also say the same thing for Ambulance. Again, it's a Michael Bay movie. You know what you're getting. But I will admit, as much as I took the piss, it doesn't look like a normal Michael Bay movie. It looks like there's a bit of drama and substance to this. Maybe the fact that it is mostly probably set in an ambulance means that it could be a little bit toned down. But it's interesting. And also, it kind of made me go like, Jake Gyllenhaal in a Michael Bay movie. That's kind of interesting. I wonder how he got in this. But I don't know. It just feels like he's might have to be a bit more restrained with this one. Maybe not. Maybe I'm totally wrong. But we shall see. Either way, another one that's on Moving Transporters Bullet Train. The cast for this is excellent. David Leitch has done amazing action movies. I love the plot. That one is going to go really far with me. Operation Fortune is such a weird one. Like, this seems like one of those movies where you find out that, like, China co-financed the whole thing. Because it looks like a really weird, like, generic movie. And the title is kind of weird. I saw a trailer for this, like, back in December. And I'm not saying, like, I looked up the trailer or it was released. I mean, they put an ad for the trailer out, like, 3 months early. And I'm like, what is this some sort of scam? The only thing that really made me kind of go like, huh, Aubrey Plaza's in this. And that made me go like, that's a different role for her. I'm kind of interested in that. But aside from that, I don't know. I watched the trailer. I was like, let me give this a chance. This could be fun. And there's a really awkward joke about Josh Hartnett is like being blackmailed because they have video of him having sex with his sister or something. And I'm like, where did that come from? Anyway, no, that's not the action we want to talk about. We want to talk about what action movie I'm looking forward to most out of these ones. Right. For me, there's one winner, and I guess almost two honorable mentions. I think The Lost City and Ambulance actually look quite good. I'm quite interested to see them. But for me, Bullet Train is the clear winner. Now, again, haven't got a trailer for that one. Maybe I'll get the trailer for it and go, actually, you know what? I was wrong. But for now, Bullet Train interests me a lot. I like it. Hey, let's take a break from action movies. Let's instead have a look at video games. With a category that, man, is it omniscient. Prophetic, even. This category, right, is called Games We're So Excited For They'll Probably Be Delayed Forever. We had 6 nominees last year. 2 of them were released. I can't remember what the other one was, but Deathloop was our winner. Deathloop got released. Or at least got released on PlayStation. 4 other... Oh, I do have the... Yeah, it's 4 movies delayed last year. 4 games delayed last year, apologies. So these are all going to presumably come out this year, but I've made a call here. I said I'm not going to put them in this category because you know what? You had your chance last year. Tough shit. God of War Ragnarok, Ghostwire Tokyo, Gotham Knights, and Hogwarts Legacy are all going to release this year. Again, you know, you had your chance, but just know that they're out there. But we're going to talk about some of the other games. There's 6 more games this year to talk about. Elden Ring. This is an action RPG made by From Software, who gave us the Dark Souls series and Bloodborne. Main thing that this is getting publicity for is the fact that it's a collaboration with George R.R. Martin. Elden Ring takes place in the realm of the lands between sometime after destruction of the titular Elden Ring and the scattering of its shards, the Great Runes, once graced by the ring and the Earth Tree, which symbolizes the presence... Jesus, sorry. Feels like you're reading kind of the back of a Lord of the Rings novel, doesn't it? It's just, there's a lot of stuff going on here, man. It's about rings, I guess. You restore the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord. There you go. You need the last line. Sell it on that. Put that in the back of your box, not a big blurb. Jesus Christ. It comes to Sony and Microsoft platforms February 25th. Then we have Saints Row, also coming to Sony and Microsoft platforms. This is a reboot of the Saints Row series that's taking it in a bit more grounded and less wacky approach. Certainly the more recent entries. This has divided a lot of fans on the reboot. It's set for release August 23rd. Then we have Starfield, another long-awaited action RPG from Bethesda. First announced in 2018, is finally coming to Xbox Series X and S, and Windows. This is apparently, and I tried to verify this, and I saw some things where I was like, I don't know if that's true, but this is apparently their first new IP in over 25 years, which is crazy. The player will assume the role of a customizable character who is a member of Constellation, an organization of space explorers. The game takes place 20 years after a major war where major factions enjoy an uneasy peace. Despite an apparent November 11th release date, we have not seen much of this game yet. There's no gameplay out there. Is it time to start worrying? Probably not. There's a lot of time between now and November. But again, could we be talking about this year? I mean, again, is this category going to be correctly named again? Possibly. I think Elden Ring will come out anyway because it is early. Again, another thing we often have with games is that we had to kind of predict a release date because they don't give us one. One of those is Dead Space. What? What year is this? 2022? Dead Space, yeah. Coming to Windows and current gen consoles, Dead Space is a reboot that sees the return of Isaac along with his original voice actor. This is being billed as a remake as opposed to a remaster that will have no microtransactions and possibly even include elements that were cut from the original games because of the kind of limitations of their time. It's expected to release late this year, aka probably next year. Speaking of a game that we don't have a firm date on, Breath of the Wild, a sequel to the critically acclaimed, much adored Zelda game, is of course going to come to Switch. Breath of the Wild was massively adored. This sequel has not been titled. People are just calling it Breath of the Wild a sequel. Apparently the reason they're holding it back is because it would reveal a bit too much about the game and spoil certain elements. But all we should know is that the original director of the game is returning. And anything beyond that is just fan speculation. Oh yeah, expected to launch this year. Who knows? We shall see. Then we have the last game in this category this year, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Rocksteady's first game in over half a decade sees, well, as the title suggests, Task Force X tries to take down the Justice League as they are brainwashed by an invading Brainiac. It also takes place in the Arkham universe, which Rocksteady created with their acclaimed Batman games. Players take control of Harley Quinn, King Shark, Captain Boomerang, and Deadshot in a game that allows for solo and co-op play. Expected to release this year on Windows and current-gen consoles. Okay. If we included the 4 games from last year that I'm not going to go into further detail, I don't think... yeah, I don't think my vote would change. Let's go through these ones though. Okay, Elden Ring. There's a massive market for these games. Some people love them. For me, I'm not... I tried to play Bloodborne. I couldn't get into it. So, you know, it's certainly to a certain demographic. I'm just not part of it. Saints Row. I kind of didn't get too invested in the Saints Row series. But I always appreciated that it was kind of going the crazy comical approach that older GTA games used to have and don't really anymore. And then I saw the trailer for this, and man, is it horrible looking. It looks like Fortnite. Not for me, not seemingly for fans of the series, seemingly for a new generation. That is not me in any way, but I don't know, maybe it'll surprise us. Starfield, again, I'm not a massive RPG guy. There's not a lot to go on with this game either. So because of that, not for me. Dead Space. I love Dead Space. I'm really excited for this remake. But again, it's nothing new. And because of that, it's like, hard to get too excited for a remake of a game that came out really. I mean, it's not like the old one is like a dinosaur. You know, it still plays. I think you can still get it on like EA Play or whatever it's called. So it's like, man, anyway, I'll enjoy it. I'll play it. I'll probably pre-order it and be one of those schmucks. But still, it's hard to get way too excited for like a remake of a game. You know what I mean? Breath of the Wild sequel. I actually bought Breath of the Wild last week. I haven't played it yet though, so because of that, it's hard to get excited. But I know most people, this is like way up there for the most anticipated games of the year. Just not me. I've only got a Switch recently. I'm not like a legacy Nintendo player. Again, there is a massive demographic for this. It's just that I'm not a part of it. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, on the other hand. It's tough for me here, right? Because I'll tell you why it's tough. I've been waiting for Rocksteady to say a new game forever. And I was kind of taken aback by this. And everything I've seen from it so far, I'm like, this, I don't know, is this what I want it to be? But I'm still excited to see what it is. Which I can't necessarily say for some of the rest of the ones. And again, there's loads of other games coming out this year. I had to cut this down. But for me, I think I've got to give it to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, just because I want to see what Rocksteady have been working on. And I've got to hope there's more to it than meets the eye. And again, if nothing else, having them back in the comic booky world, and again, with the Arkham series, they did amazing work. I'm excited to see what they do with this. So for me, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is the winner of the games we're so excited for that probably be delayed forever. Please don't be delayed forever. I say that's all the games in our category. Best of luck actually getting released. Anyway, we were talking about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. That's not really family friendly. Kill? Suicide? How about we do something for the kids? Because this award is for the children. Just like the Wu-Tang Clan. Rest in peace, old early bastard. Damn it, I said bastard. Now it's not a kid-friendly category. God damn it. Okay, last year Ryan the Last Dragon won. I never saw Ryan the Last Dragon, so I don't know what that says about the legitimacy of this award show. But anyway, let's go through what we have here. And there's a lot, man. We have Turning Red, which is Pixar's latest, which is now going directly to Disney Plus at no cost. Their third film to do that, by the way. Set in Toronto between 2002 and 2003, the film centres around Mei Lee, a confident 13-year-old Chinese Canadian who's torn between staying her mother's dutiful daughter and the chaos of adolescence. Whenever she gets too excited or stressed, she poofs into a giant red panda. Directed by Domi Shi in her first feature, she previously directed the acclaimed short film Bao, comes out March 11th. Also from Pixar this year, June 17th, prepare to go to infinity and beyond, as Pixar deliver the origin story to the Buzz Lightyear character from the Toy Story series. But crucially, it's a character that inspired the toy in that series. Do you understand what I said there? It's like the Buzz Lightyear toy that Tim Allen plays. It's the show that inspired that toy. So they'd be watching this in the Toy Story universe and then buying the toy based on that. Do you get me? I'm not sure if that's clear. Angus MacLean directs, having worked on a number of Pixar shorts and directed Toy Story shorts previously. Pete Docter, writer of Monsters Inc., Inside Out, Up and Soul, writes. Chris Evans voices Buzz, with Taika Waititi also lending his voice to the project. But if you're not interested in heroes, how about we check in with The Bad Guys? From DreamWorks Animation comes The Bad Guys, in a world where humans and anthropomorphic animals coexist. A gang of criminal animals known as Mr. Wolf, Mr. Piranha, Mr. Snake, Mr. Shark, and Mr. Tarantula have made a deal to go good to avoid serving prison time, with Mr. Wolf beginning to enjoy his new lifestyle while a new villain emerges. Voice cast includes Sam Rockwell, Mark Maron, Craig Robinson, and more. Set to release April 22nd. But let's look at another talking animal, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Over a decade after the first film, we get a sequel to Puss in Boots. Antonio Banderas returns as the titular Puss, who discovers that his passion for adventure has taken its toll. He has burned through 8 of his 9 lives, leaving him with only 1 left. He sets out on an epic journey to find the mythical last wish and restore his 9 lives. That sounds pretty badass. No other details are known, but it's apparently set for September 23rd. The fact that there's no other details known, I haven't heard anything about a voice cast or heard anything else really, I doubt it's coming out this year, personally. But we'll see. As what happens sometimes with these animated films is you hear nothing, and then it's like a month out, they're like, here you go, it's coming. And you're like, oh shit, right. But I can't imagine like doing that with Puss in Boots like a decade after. It's like, honestly, it almost feels like that film. Is there any? Are they making this film at all? Because man, they really missed the boat on this one. Speaking of another animal, aren't we always talking about animals with kid movies? God damn it. Lyle Crocodile, inspired by the kids' book of the same name and billed as a live-action animated musical comedy. The story follows the title I think I meant to write titular reptile there. The story follows the titular reptile who lives in a house on East 88th Street in New York City. Lyle enjoys helping the Prim family with everyday chores and playing with the neighborhood kids, but one neighbor insists that Lyle belongs in a zoo. That monster. Mr. Grumps and his cats Loretta do not like crocodiles, and Lyle tries to prove that he is not as bad as others might first think in a long, laborious court case. I don't know. Maybe, probably not. Hopefully not. Directed by Will Speck and Josh Gordon, who made Office Christmas Party and Blades of Glory. It stars Javier Bardem and releases November 18th. What about Some Luck? The first film from Skydance Animation. When an unlucky girl stumbles upon the never-before-seen world of good and bad luck, she teams up with magical creatures to uncover a force more powerful than even luck itself. Directed by Peggy Holmes, who directed many straight-to-DVD Disney films. Cast includes Jane Fonda and Whoopi Goldberg. Apparently coming to Apple TV February 18th. Haven't even got a trailer. Probably not happening. The Skydance Animation deal is really strange. It was meant to be like a deal at Paramount. I think Paramount recently kind of moved some of that deal to Apple TV Plus. Certainly the animated films that they have coming out this year are going to Apple TV Plus. Doesn't really fare well for this deal that there's very little talk about this. I think it also they're kind of worried because they have John Lasseter attached to it, all those scandals at Pixar. But they have another film apparently coming this year from Skydance Animation, which is Spellbound. It tells the story of Ellen, a teenager who comes of age using her magical powers to defend her family when the opposing force of light and darkness threaten to divide her kingdom. Directed by Vicky Jensen, one of the co-directors of Shrek. November 11th, distributed by Apple TV+. Then we have Walt Disney Animation's only film this year, actually. Strange Worlds, directed by Don Hall, co-creator of Big Hero 6 and Moana, and most recently Ryan the Last Dragon. Story is the legendary Clades are a family, is it? Yeah, the legendary Clades are a family of explorers whose differences threaten to topple their latest and most crucial mission. Slated for November 23rd. Finally, in the category, we have Blazing Samurai. July 22nd, from Paramount Animation comes a film inspired by Blazing Saddles. An action-packed animated comedy for all the family inspired by Mel Brooks' timeless classic, Blazing Saddles. Hank, a lovable dog with a head full of dreams, drama would be more interesting. Head full of dreams about becoming a samurai, sets off in search of his destiny. Michael Cera, Samuel L. Jackson, Ricky Gervais, Mel Brooks, and others voice the film. And that is our kids category, which, man, I don't know. Some of these sound pretty damn generic. Okay, Turning Red. I like this one, kind of. I'm interested as 2002 and 2003. It's kind of weird that they picked that time era, you know. I liked Bow, which is what Domi Shi directed before this. I'm not massively sold on the trailer. The fact it's coming to Disney Plus kind of cheapens it for me, I'm not going to lie. Not that the stuff that's come to Disney Plus so far has been bad or anything. Lightyear, again, first of all, Pete Docter, who's like hit after hit. He did Monsters Inc., Inside Out, Up and Soul, which is like, damn, that's a good track record. And also, this is just looks very different. Like, you watch the trailer for this, and it doesn't feel like a Pixar film. It looks like a proper space epic that just happens to be animated. And that interests me. But we'll see. Then we have The Bad Guys. Again, the trailer for this I like. Like, basically the plot is like reverse Suicide Squad. It's like bad guys that have to do good. Oh wait, that is the plot of the Suicide Squad. Whoops. Yeah, I let that slip. Oh my god, where do we get the idea from? No, it's based on a kid's book. The kids' books look fun. The trailer looks kind of fun. I actually like the animation style. It's kind of sort of cel-shady looking. Again, it's not the most original. The trailer didn't make me laugh, certainly, but it looks like it could be a bit of fun. Puss in Boots. I don't know, man. I haven't seen the first Puss in Boots film. I love Puss in Boots when he's in Shrek. I like Shrek, but it's kind of like, it feels like this is like a relic that they're just dusting off, and I don't know how much love or interest they're putting in there. Lila Crocodile sounds okay. Again, I like the fact that they bill it as a live-action animated musical comedy. There's so many caveats there, like, whoa, what is this? But aside from that, it doesn't do much for me. But also the directors of Office Christmas Party and Blades of Glory makes me be like, how did they get involved here? Luck and Spellbound, actually, the two Skydance Animation ones sound so fucking vanilla. Like, oh, magical creatures. Nah, not for me. Strange World, we don't know enough about it to get me interested. Blazing Samurai is one where I'm just like, this is such an oddity. Like, again, who's this for? You know, like, oh, there we go again, drink again. Like, kids that are like, yes, Blazing Saddles. Adults that are like, yes, Blazing Saddles, but also an animated film. It's just such a weird one. It kind of feels like just easy money for Mel Brooks, to be honest, which I'm totally for. I think I saw a poster for this, and it was like a big dog's arse in sumo gear or something. And I was like, right, that's what we're going for. And that kind of sapped any interest I had in it. Again, aside from the odd factor, it doesn't do much for me. For me, this really does come down to... Well, yeah, it comes down to maybe there's 3 films I'm like, maybe. But for me, it's no question. For me this year, it's Lightyear. like, it looks different. It doesn't look like your regular Pixar thing. And I think they've kind of settled into a bit of a rut, I think. We're getting a lot of like road trip adventures with two best buddies, and I'm hoping this is going to be different. It doesn't look like something that you're going to have massive amounts of like fun and comedy with. It looks like there could be some epic action. Again, first trailer could be very misleading to get attention, but it certainly caught my attention enough that I gave it the stamp of approval. Alright, next category. Why don't you read a book, you loser? Don't read a book, actually. Just wait for the movie. And that's what we have with Book 'em Boys. Oh, man. Let's talk about last year, which last year's winner was Infinity. Oof. Sorry about that. Do you remember that movie? what was it like? Mark Wahlberg was like a warrior through decades or generations. I was Highlander or something, wasn't it? I didn't see it. No one saw it. It wasn't good, apparently. We have 6 films here. Again, one where it's like, other films could have been in this, but we just named 6. Memory, directed by Martin Campbell and based on a Belgian novel called The Alzheimer's Case, which was previously adapted in Belgium. An assassin for hire finds that he's become a target after he refuses to complete a job for a dangerous criminal organisation. Liam Neeson, Guy Pearce, and Monica Bellucci star. Comes out April 29th. Liam Neeson was here last year at the awards. He's not here this year. For good reason, because last year he was here and he refused to fucking leave, and we finally got rid of him, and now he's making these films and some film called Blacklight, which another reason he's not invited. Don't run a blacklight over the bed we left him staying. Less said about that, the better. Salem's Lot, based on a classic Stephen King novel from the writer of the Annabelle series and director of the most recent Annabelle Comes Home. Ben Mears is a man who returns to his childhood. Ben Mears, drink, I guess. Ben Mears is a man who returns to his childhood home of Jerusalem's Lot in search of inspiration for his next book, only to discover his hometown is being preyed upon by a vampire, leading him to a band together with a ragtag group that will fight the evil presence. September 9th. Man, that really does sound like a September movie, doesn't it? Where the Crawdad Sings, based on the acclaimed and best-selling novel by Delia Owens, which is about a woman who raised herself in the marshes of the Deep South. She becomes a suspect in the murder of a man she was once involved with. Adapted by the writer of Beast of the Southern Wild. This comes out July 22nd. Dark Harvest, based on the book of the same name by Norman Partridge. A legendary monster called October Boy terrorizes residents in a small Midwestern town. When he rises from the cornfields every Halloween with his butcher knife and makes his way towards those who are brave enough to confront him. Directed by David Slade from 30 Days of Night and Hard Candy. Comes out September 9th. That's right. Same date as Salem's Lot, so you'll have a choice. White Bird, A Wonder Story. The following week, we get White Bird, A Wonder Story, based on the graphic novel by R.J. Palacio, which was a companion piece to his novel Wonder. There you go. The film takes place after Wonder, where bully Julian has left school. He is visited by his grandmother from Paris, who tells him stories of her childhood as a young Jewish girl living in Nazi-occupied France during World War II. She was hidden from the Nazis by a classmate and his family. Mark Foster, director of Quantum of Solace, and Christopher Robin directs. Film stars Gillian Anderson and Helen Mirren. And the last one that very nearly got into awards, the awards category, based on the non-fiction book of the same name that depicts the work done by journalists Jodie Cantor and Megan Twohey to break the story of Harvey Weinstein's sexual misconduct allegation. It stars Zoe Kazan and Kerry Mulligan, set for release November 18th. Right. Memory. Martin Campbell is like another one that's really inconsistent with his films. The plot synopsis for that does nothing for me, neither does the cast. Salem's Lot. Yeah, I'll go for a vampire movie by Stephen King. Where the Crawdad Sings, I've heard the book is very good. I haven't read it. Sounds interesting, but it also kind of feels like, you know, like your mom will love it, you know, that kind of thing. Dark Harvest sounds so damn generic. Just sounds like a horror film. The fact that it honestly doesn't even sound like a book. Like, it sounds like something that wouldn't sustain a book. So I don't know about that one. I haven't seen Wonder. You know, it sounds fine. It sounds kind of like deep, I guess, or deep for a teenager, which is who reads Wonder, I think. She Said, again, I could have said this being a very good film. I could see getting some awards consideration depending if it comes out good. But, man, it sounds like a downer. And because of that, I don't want to see it. I'm just going to go with Salem's Lot. In the least enthusiastic answer of the evening. Salem's Lot, because vampires. Yay! Oh, man. Hopefully, I'll be less enthusiastic about the rest of the category. And by the rest of the category, I should say the next category, which I will be less enthusiastic about because we've talked about these before. This is the Deja Vu category. Films we talked about last year that are still refusing to come out, including a book, film based on a book, film, that a word I made up? God damn, I'm losing my mind already. I'm sorry, I've been drinking as well. Death on the Nile, a sequel to 2017's Murder on the Orient Express, directed and starring Kenneth Branagh, again based, of course, on the Agatha Christie novel. The peace and tranquility that was temporarily existent on the SS Carnac is destroyed after one of the passengers is found murdered. Renowned Belgian detective Hercule Poirot, turns a bit Scottish there, is entrusted with the important task of identifying which one of these passengers is the killer before they strike again. Listen to this cast. It's aged like fine wine. Mwah. We have, first of all, we'll get the innocent parodies out of the way. Annette Bening, Gal Gadot. Then we have Russell Brand, gone down a dodgy road there. Letitia Wright, gone down a dodgy road. Armie Hammer, ah! Oh man, get that film out now. Oh no. Then we have Top Gun Maverick, a film I'm sick of seeing trailers for in the cinema. Put it out for fuck's sake. After more than 30 years of service and 30 years of delays at this point, as one of the Navy's top aviators, Pete Mitchell is where he belongs, pushing the envelope as a courageous test pilot and dodging the advancement in rank that would ground him. Is it? Wait a minute. Is that his name? Pete Mitchell? Maverick's name is Pete Mitchell. What a lame name. Pete Mitchell. Oh man. That's like an accountant's name. Sorry, Pete Mitchell's out there. He pushes the envelopes as a courageous test pilot and dodging the advancements in a rank that would ground him. Sequel, of course, Top Gun, directed by Joseph Kosinski, who gave us Tron Legacy and Oblivion. Features Tom Cruise returning as Maverick, Miles Teller and Jennifer Connelly. Joins the cast. Val Kilmer is also expected to return as Iceman. May 27th. I wonder what his boring real name is. John Smith. Then we have Bob's Burgers. Based on the animated series, written and directed by Lauren Bouchard, the series creator. The Bob's Burgers movie is an animated big screen musical comedy mystery adventure based on the long-running Emmy-winning series Spin, Spin, Spin Publicity. Let's get to the plot. The story begins when a ruptured water main creaks an enormous sinkhole right in front of Bob's Burgers, blocking the entrance indefinitely and ruining the Belcher's plans for a successful summer. While Bob and Linda struggle to keep the business afloat, the kids try to solve a mystery that could save the family's restaurant. As the danger mounts, these underdogs help each other and find hope and fight to get back behind the counter, where they belong. Also May 27th, I want to talk about that one in a sec. Jackass Forever, fourth theatrical film in the series based on the MTV show Discounting the Bad Grandpa spin-off, features the original cast along with some new members doing outlandish and amateur stunts. The film marks the first entry without Ryan Dunn and is also now over a decade since the last film, coming out February 4th, again, very soon, so I don't need to say much about that. Minions, The Rise of Gru, sequel to Minions and fifth installment in the Despicable Me series, the untold story of one 12-year-old's dream to become the world's greatest supervillain. As you would expect, this is a prequel to where we get some of Gru's backstory and his hopes to join the villainous group, the Vicious Six. After stealing a precious object, he finds himself at odds with the Vicious Six and on the run with the help of the Minions. July 1st. So it's a sequel, prequel. Sequel to Minions, prequel to Despicable Me. Spin-off, sequel, prequel. Oh god. Yeah, July 1st. Dog. I'm not saying, what's up dog? I'm saying like Dog is the next movie we're talking about. US Army Ranger Briggs is tasked with bringing Lulu, a Belgian Malinois military working dog, down the Pacific coast from Joint Base Lewis McChord. Oh my god. Whoa. Sorry. Channing Tatum. Sorry. Stars as Briggs in the film. He co-directs it with Reed Carolyn. He has a dog. Who cares? And that's what the movie is called. Like they couldn't be bothered coming up with an inventive title. That says a lot about the film, doesn't it? The man from Toronto, a screw-up is forced to team up with with an assassin after the two are confused for one another while staying at an Airbnb. The screw-up is Kevin Hart, the assassin is Woody Harrelson. Kaylee Cuoco is in the film as well. It's directed by Patrick Hughes, who gave us the Hitman's Bodyguards films, second one of which was apparently shit. The more reputable of the two writers is Chris Bremner, who recently worked on Bad Boys for Life. August 12th. Jesus Christ. Man, this again, imagine if I had to talk about these in earnest. The unbearable weight of massive talent. The director and writer of The Awkward Moment, a film you probably don't remember. Nicolas Cage begrudgingly accepts $1 million offer to attend the birthday of a Mexican billionaire superfan. When things take a wild turn, he's forced to become a version of some of his most iconic characters in order to extricate his wife and daughter from the fan, who is a notorious drug lord. Cage plays himself, Pedro Pascal plays the drug dealer, Sharon Horgan and Tiffany Haddish are also in the film. Comes out April 22nd. Then we have Marry Me. The story is that after learning that her onstage partner has been having an affair behind her back, a sensational Latin pop star Jennifer Lopez, well, what a stretch for her, chooses to marry a stranger, holding a Marry Me sign at her live concert. Sarah Silverman and Jamila Jamil are also in the film. It's directed by Kat Coiro, who has directed It's Always Sunny, The Mick, and is producing the upcoming She-Hulk, which we'll talk about soon, February 11th. Then we have Morbius. Known to many comic fans as Morbius the Living Vampire, the film follows biochemist Michael Morbius as he tries to cure himself of a rare blood disease, but he inadvertently infects himself with a form of vampirism instead. Daniel Espinosa directs, best known for the 2017 sci-fi film Life. The script comes from the writers of The Gods of Egypt and The Last Witch Hunter. Oh boy. Jared Leto plays our lead, joined by Matt Smith and Tyrese Gibson. Michael Keaton is also in the film, seemingly reprising his role as Adrian Toomes or the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming, which could have big MCU ramifications. Right. Let's get into these. Man, I'm not going to spend long on these ones because we already spent last year on them as well. Death on the Nile. I kind of remember liking Murder on the Orient Express a bit, I guess. Again, this is going down as one of the worst stage films over the pandemic. Yeah, it looks okay. But again, it's been marketed to death by now. I've seen the trailer a lot of times. There's been loads of trailers, I'm pretty sure. I just don't have the interest in it. It's just release it and get it over it. Top Gun Maverick is in the same boat for me. It's been done to death. I've seen the trailer so many times now. I just have no interest in it. It's kind of, I'm numb to it. Bob's Burgers is an interesting one because I'm pretty sure I've talked about this not just last year, maybe even the year before. It's been long delayed. It got its first trailer recently. My big concern for animated films is like, how do you make it like this is a movie? Apparently you just changed shading. It's more shaded, which is what it looked like. I like Bob's Burgers. I'll see it, but I'm not going to... And there's no urgent rush for me to go out and see this. Jackass Forever. I love Jackass. This was in my top 10 last year. I love Jackass. I can't wait for the movie. It's coming out so soon, so it's hard for me to get really excited for it. It's like, you know, it's tough that way. Minions The Rise of Gru, again, I think we know what to expect by now. Again, the trailer for this, I'm sure I saw like 2 years ago now, maybe more. You know, the time has passed for me to have any interest in it. Dog, I have no interest in it at all. The Man from Toronto sounds like it could be fun, but I need more information. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I love the premise. It does have a trailer. I did really like the trailer. It wasn't as wacky as I'd hoped, but I think there's a lot of potential here. And again, seeing Nicolas Cage play himself, that's just going to be fun, isn't it? So that's exciting me. Marry Me. Sounds generic. Sounds like some people might like it. Not for me. Morbius. Come on. Does anyone really care about Morbius? I mean, oh, it's a character that was in Spider-Man. Is Spider-Man in it? No. I mean, imagine after the few years we've had, they're like, hey, want to see a movie about a guy who gets sick from messing around with bats? Fuck no. Yeah, Morbius is definitely one that I honestly, though, I would say the most recent trailer can be like, oh, that looks acceptable. That looks like, at least looks like a film that would not be released in the early 2000s, maybe the late 2000s. But I don't know. For me, it's The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent or Jackass. It's a flip of a coin. I'm going to say The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent because I'm seeing Jackass pretty soon. So there you go. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent wins. Wow, what a hard fought battle. Anyway, let's talk about films. Instead of talking about films, I should say, that, you know, should be out by now. Let's just stay in. Forget about the cinemas. They're long dead. Let's instead watch TV. This is the Will Be Seen on TV award. This is actually interesting because last year we had one TV category. TV shows are really impossible to predict when they come out. So instead now I've split it into two. I've done new series for one category and returning series another one. So this one is going to be new series, the Will Be Seen on TV award. Bel-Air, the dramatic reboot of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air based on the fan film from which the show gets its name. It's understood to be more grounded and realistic about how Will's life got turned upside down, and he'd like to take him into a cinema right there, telling you how he became the prince of a town called Bel-Air. God, I can't wait until like they do a trailer with a slow dramatic version of that. Oh, it's going to be amazing. Given a 2-season order by Peacock, first season is expected to debut February 13th, which is again quite soon. I don't even know if I watched the trailer for this when it came out. Maybe I did. Again, concept-wise, I'm like, it could work, but I'm not massively excited for it. Halo, after numerous failed adaptations and false starts, the Halo TV series is finally expected to arrive. It's set in a epic 26th century conflict between humanity and an alien threat known as the Covenant. It will weave deeply drawn personal stories with action, adventure, and a richly imagined vision of the future. Wow, great plot summary, whoever wrote that. Cast members include Pablo Schreiber and Natasha McElhone. Expected on Paramount Plus early this year. I think we're actually getting a trailer soon, probably after this is recorded, but I'll go into my thoughts on that in a minute, I guess. Andor, set 5 years out before the events of Rogue One. The series follows rebel spy Cassian Andor. During the formative years of the rebellion, Diego Luna returns as Cassian. Stellan Skarsgård is in it as well, as is Forrest Whitaker, returning as Saw Gerrera. Expected to kick off its 12-episode series on Disney Plus mid to late 2022. Another Star Wars property we get, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Series begins with him watching over Luke Skywalker on Tatooine 10 years after the events of Episode 3 and takes the character on a rollicking adventure. McGregor returns as Obi-Wan. Many others are also cast in undisclosed roles, but we do know Hayden Christensen will return as Darth Vader. 6 episodes will go to Disney Plus with a rumoured spring release date. Then we have Man. an expensive show, the most expensive show ever, is expected to start on Amazon this year with The Lord of the Rings, now known as The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. A 5-season commitment worth at least $1 billion has been agreed to with the Tolkien estate. Beginning in a time of relative peace, the series follows an ensemble cast of characters both familiar and new as they confront the long-feared re-emergence of evil to Middle-earth. From the darkest depths of the Misty Mountains to the majestic forests of the elf capital of Lindon, to the breathtaking island kingdom of Numenor, I'm not getting any of these names right, to the furthest reaches of the map, these kingdoms and characters will carve out legacies that live on long after they are gone. Massive cast of unknowns for this one. The big talking point is the budget. All eyes are on Amazon to see if this was a worthwhile investment. Considering apparently the startup cost for the first season was north of $450 million. Now they get some of that back in a rebate for filming in New Zealand. Probably not going to be worth it. Yeah. First 8 episodes, or first season of 8 episodes, I should say, because they probably won't put it all up at once. Man, that would be a good way to burn millions of dollars, wouldn't it? September 2nd. Then we go to the Marvel side of television. Marvel's interesting this year because last year it was like, in the movies, it's new characters we're establishing. In the TV series, it was like, here's a lot of the characters you know. It's the opposite this year. Movies are characters we know, TV series are new characters. One of which is Moon Knight, a mercenary with dissociative identity disorder, or DID, who becomes the conduit for the Egyptian moon god Khonshu. Each suspect's identities from his DID are distinct characters, including Stephen Grant, a mild-mannered gift shop employee suffering from blackouts and memories of another life. Oscar Isaac plays our hero, and the villain is played by Ethan Hawke. 6-episode series kicks off March 30th on Disney+. Then we have Miss Marvel, our most anticipated from last year in the TV category. The MCU sees the debut of fan-favourite Kamala Khan, played by Iman Vellani, a Pakistani-American teenage girl who loves superheroes and is inspired by Captain Marvel to fight crime after gaining shape-shifting powers. The titular role, as we mentioned, is played by Iman Vellani. The 6-episode series is expected to debut mid-2022 on Disney+. Miss Marvel is also expected to appear in Captain Marvel 2 next year. We have She-Hulk then, also expected this year. It follows Jennifer Walters, played by Tatiana Maslany, as a lawyer who specialises in cases involving superhumans and can become a large, powerful, green-hued version of herself, similar to her cousin Bruce Banner, who will return, played by Mark Ruffalo. Also returning is Tim Roth's Abomination, and She-Hulk is expected to battle her rival with super strength, Titania, played by Jamila Jamil. Mostly helmed by Kat Coiro, who we mentioned earlier, the 10-episode half-hour series comes to Disney Plus later this year. Not so certain Secret Invasion is going to drop this year, but we'll mention it anyway. Again, we had 4 Disney Plus series this year, not including What If, or last year I should say, so maybe we'll get another 4 here. It's going to have 6 episodes with Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury, Talos and Ben Mendelsohn trying to stop the Skrulls who have infiltrated the highest spheres in the Marvel Universe. We'll also see the return of Kobe Smulders and Maria Hill, and the introduction of the MCU of Olivia Colman and Emilia Clarke in an undisclosed capacity. Show will be overseen by Kyle Bradstreet, best known for his work on Mr. Robot. Either way, whenever it debuts, it's going on Disney Plus, of course. Speaking of Emilia Clarke, House of Dragons, the first of potentially many Game of Thrones spin-offs, will debut in 2022. The show is set 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones and chronicles the beginning of the end of House Targaryen, the events leading up to the Targaryen Civil War, known as the Dance of Dragons, and the war itself. Cast includes Paddy Considine, Emma Darcy, Olivia Cook, and Matt Smith. The show will kick off this year on HBO. Also expected on HBO this year is an adaptation of The Last of Us based on the acclaimed video game. It follows a smuggler named Joel forced to escort a teenage girl named Ellie across an apocalyptic America. Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey play our 2 leads, possibly debuting later this year on HBO. Over on HBO Max, we have Gremlins Secret of the Mogwai, which is finally the return of Gremlins as a 10-episode animated prequel. Man, that's how we wanted the Gremlins back, wasn't it? Focuses on a naive 10-year-old Sam Wing, how he met the young Mogwai called Gizmo, along with a teenage street thief named Elle. Sam and Gizmo take a perilous journey through Chinese countryside, encountering and sometimes battling colourful monsters and spirits from Chinese folklore. On their quest to return Gizmo to his family, they uncover a legendary treasure, and they are pursued by a power-hungry industrialist and his growing army of evil gremlins, expected to land this year. Oh man, I want to talk about that one. Pam and Tommy. If you're looking for something a bit more scandalous, you can check out Pam and Tommy, which depicts the marriage between Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee, and the release of their infamous unauthorized sex tape, which was recorded privately during their honeymoon. Stars Lily James and Sebastian Stan in the title roles, and also stars Nick Offerman and Seth Rogen, who helped develop the series. 8 episodes debut. The 8-episode series debuts, I should say, February 2nd on Hulu and Disney Plus internationally. Finally, Sandman. Neil Gaiman's groundbreaking series is finally adapted to screen by Netflix. Developed by Gaiman, along with David S. Goyer and Alan Heinberg. The story being that in 1916, Morpheus, the King of Dreams and one of the Seven Endless, is captured in an occult ritual. After being held captive for 105 years, he escapes and sets out to restore order to the Kingdom of Dreaming. Tom Sturridge plays the King of Dreams, with Gwendolyn Christie playing Lucifer, to name just two of the impressive casts, expected to arrive later this year on Netflix. Man, there's a lot of stuff there. Okay, let's run through it very quickly. Bel Air, as I mentioned, not too sold on. Halo, not too sold on what I've seen. It looks really cheap. Again, I kind of feel like Halo's time has passed for it to be relevant as a TV series. Andor, I don't know if this is necessary. I'm really shocked it's 12 episodes as well. It feels like the longest of all the Disney Plus series. I don't know if we need it. I'm sure I'll watch it or at least give it a few episodes, but I'm not sure if we need it. Obi-Wan Kenobi, on the other hand, 6 episodes. I find it really interesting. I think Ewan McGregor is great as Obi-Wan Kenobi, so I'm interested to see his return. I also have to say, as much as Hayden Christensen gets a lot of shit, I'm really interested to see him return and get to properly kind of portray Darth Vader. So yeah, that one kind of feels like if I had to put the eggs in any basket of a Star Wars show coming up, it probably would be that one. Lord of the Rings, man, do you know what? I just want to see how it looks for how much they spent, but I don't know about this one, man. I'm really not sure this is going to be any good, but we shall see. Again, I don't have major faith in it. When it comes to the Marvel side of stuff, Miss Marvel, it's like my hype has kind of died for it because I feel like we waited for far too long now, even though I'm sure it will be pretty good. But we haven't seen enough of it to justify it. Again, She-Hulk is something we haven't seen enough of either. I do find it interesting they're going for sort of like a half-hour kind of comedy, kind of procedural thing. And there is some stuff I like about it. Secret Invasion, that's one, again, will we get this year? I'm not entirely sure. Possibly not. I kind of hope not. I hope they take the time with this to get it right. Because it feels like this shouldn't be a Disney Plus series. I think this could be a major storyline throughout the MCU. And I'm not sure if we're going to get it if it's a Disney Plus show. Which sees Moon Knight. Moon Knight is what I'm very excited for. It looks dark. It looks different. I will say the only trailer they put out so far didn't grab me like I hoped. But I'm very interested. Of all the Marvel shows coming out there, it's probably my most anticipated. House of the Dragon. Yeah, I mean, Game of Thrones could be good, could be bad. Definitely, if Game of Thrones hadn't ended the way it did, I'd be much more excited. The Last of Us. I love The Last of Us. Again, do I feel like I need this? Probably not, because I thought the games were cinematic enough. I kind of feel the same way I feel about this, Uncharted. But, you know, I'm going to watch it. I'm just not massively anticipated because I kind of know what I'm getting. Secrets of the Mogwai. God damn it. I want a proper Gremlins thing. I don't want a weird 10 episodes, apparently it might even have 2 series already, animated show about adventures in China. It feels like weird propaganda or something. Like, what is this? The appeal of Gremlins is that they're puppets, not animated. I don't need a prequel to the guy who sold the Gremlin. Dumb. Pam and Tommy. Yeah, I kind of have a interest in this, but I feel kind of dirty for saying that. I feel like it'll be a kind of a fun kind of, you know, guilty pleasure watch. And, you know, again, it's one that comes out so soon that it's hard to get massively invested. In fact, again, it probably will be out by the time this video comes out. Sandman. If this was on somewhere other than Netflix, I'd be more excited. The trailer I liked, but again, I don't have faith in Netflix when it comes to some of these things. I feel like they could just put it out there, no one watches it, and then they cancel it straight away. So I guess out of all of those, out of the new series, the one I'm most excited for and interested in is Obi-Wan Kenobi. There you go. We haven't seen enough of it yet, but hopefully it delivers. I think it's apparently rumoured to come out, I think, early enough, actually. But anyway, you didn't hear that from me. I think it's meant to come out before the summer is what I heard, but that's only a rumour. How about the shows that are coming back? The Show Must Go On Award. Talked about a few of these before and things got delayed, of course. Boys was returning to Amazon for Season 3 this year on June 3rd. Much of the surviving cast, of course, returns following Season 2. New members include Soldier Boy played by Jensen Ackles, who's pretty much a parody of Captain America. We don't get a lot else. The only storyline we've had confirmed is Herogasm, which is about as graphic as it sounds. There's also going to be a spin-off this year called The Boys Diabolical. I think it's an animated anthology series, which debuts March 4th. It's been a while since you've seen The Boys. There's a lot of shows here, actually, that we haven't seen for a good while. One of which is not Cobra Kai, because that only ended like a month ago. But I would, based on their normal schedule, I would imagine that we'll get the next season, because apparently it's already finished filming. The 5th season apparently finished filming. Details are sparse. Obviously it's going to pick up where the last one left off, and it's expected to land this year on Netflix. One show we have waited a long time for, though, is Barry. Have not had a new episode this one since May of 2019. Hitman turned actor Barry finally returns to HBO. A dark comedy series stars Bill Hader, Stephen Root and Henry Winkler. It's a very, very acclaimed. After a long battle with COVID issues, apparently it was like about to film, and then COVID shut it down, and they couldn't return to it for ages. We're finally getting season 3 this year, maybe in March. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, Atlanta, another show that was really hampered by big gasoline seasons. Not all blame on COVID this time. Hasn't had a new episode since May of 2018. Crazy. This March 24th, though, the show finally returns. Follows Donald Glover's Earn Marks, that's his name, to try and make it as a manager in the Atlanta rap scene. Finally comes back on the scene on FX this March. Then we have Better Call Saul, the final season of Breaking Bad spin-off, sees Bob Odenkirk finally and fully transform into Jimmy McGill, A.K.A. Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad. Details are sparse, but it's expected that the final episode of 13 episodes, which is in 2 parts, will debut in the middle of this year on AMC. Another show we've waited a long, long time for, Stranger Things 4, last aired July 2019. At long last it returns. The 9-episode season will take place in 1986 during spring break, and will pick up with the kids once more exploring and investigating the Upside Down, and also the return of Hopper, who was last seen in a Russian prison. Spoilers, but you know, you've had long enough to watch it, shut up. Coming to Netflix this year. Only Murders in the Building, one of last year's breakout hits. Only Murders in the Building began filming a second season last December for an expected 2022 debut. No details are announced, but it will no doubt pick up from the end of the first season and include the original cast of Steve Martin, Selena Gomez and Martin Short. Cara Delevingne has also joined the cast for season 2, which is most likely going to premiere on Hulu and Disney Plus internationally, as the first season did. And the last show, something that's not American, Derry Girls, another show not seen since 2019. We last saw the Derry Girls in April of that year, and yet this upcoming 3rd season is going to be the final one. Filming wrapped on the end of last year, and the show is expected to make its final bow on Channel 4 this year. Speaking of final season, that's the final show in this category. Right. The Boys. Okay, I like The Boys, but I kind of feel like a lot of time has passed. I'll watch it when it comes out. I think the second season, maybe it was the way it was released, I wasn't like, I need to watch it now. So because of that, I think it's certainly affected my my anticipation for a 3rd season, especially when like the gap has gone on long enough where like I'm just like, yeah, I can wait. Cobra Kai, I finished the 4th season recently. It kind of feels to me like it's running out of ideas, but I will watch it, but I'm not massively anticipating it. Barry is so damn good, man. I've just started rewatching it, so that's gonna help, you know, because it is really, really good. Atlanta is one, unfortunately, that I'm not up to date on. I didn't finish season 2. I have to go back and watch it, but you know, I don't know. It's one that a lot of people like. I'm sure I'll get into it eventually, but Better Call Saul is another one I'm a season behind on, so I can't fully comment there. Stranger Things 4, of all the shows, man, that took a big gap, like the gap for this one really killed my interest, because season 3 was the weakest season yet, in my opinion. I think kids are going to be really old now. So yeah, my interest in Stranger Things is kind of gone, unfortunately. I'm sure it might come back when the show comes out, but all the same. Only Murders in the Building I really liked first season, but whether or not they can replicate that with season 2, I'm not entirely sure. And again, since I feel like I just got that, you know, itch scratched by season 1, it's hard to get too excited. Derry Girls, man, one of the funniest shows on TV. Really sad it's ending straight away, and we only got 3rd seasons of it, but I guess, you know, go out while you're on top. Another one, though, that's like I've waited long enough, and I've rewatched the first 2 seasons enough, and it's only going to be like 6 episodes as well, so it's like, you know, I'm sad it's ending more than really excited for it to come back. But anyway, if I had to give it to one show, and again, I guess I've kind of tainted the water here by rewatching this one at the moment. Barry, I think it's an amazing show. I'm really excited to see where it picks up for season 3, and apparently it's come back for season 4. And you know, I think it's a show that thankfully hasn't been hurt too much by the big gap. Then we go to the horror category. Oh, the horror! Halloween Kills won it last year. Man, Halloween Kills was not great, was it? But hopefully Halloween Ends will be better. The final entry in this rebooted series arrives October 14th, 2022. It's said to be a more intimate coming of age that takes place 4 years after the last film and will address COVID. Oh, that sounds terrible. David Gordon Green directs once again. This film billed as the end of the franchise until, you know, they make another one. Then we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Another rebooted Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This one is copying Halloween's homework by ignoring all the entries except the original and making a sequel in the present day. I know Texas Chainsaw Massacre did that as well before. That they're really running on fumes with this one. Melody, her teenage sister Lila, and their friends Dante and Ruth head on the remote town of oh god, I don't care. Right, Leatherface, Texas. Right, that's what comes it. There's so little confidence in this movie that it's skipping theaters altogether and going straight to Netflix on February 18th. That's yeah. The sound you heard wasn't a chainsaw there. It was crickets. The Black Phone, based on a short story by Joe Hill and directed by Scott Derrickson, after being adopted by a child killer and locked in a soundproof basement, a 13-year-old boy starts receiving calls on a disconnected phone from the killer's previous victims. Sounds fucked up. I'm so in. I get very positive reviews coming out of Fantastic Fest last year and hits cinemas June 24th. Then we have Studio 666. While the Foo Fighters struggled to record their 10th album at an Encino mansion, band frontman Dave Grohl is forced to battle the supernatural forces within the house. The story is also written by Dave Grohl. It comes out February 25th. Wow. We're going to have some words about that one. X is the next one. Directed and written by Ty West. The House of the Devil comes from A24. Set in a secluded farm in Texas. A film crew arrives and shoot an adult film. Their host, a reclusive elderly couple, takes a special interest in their young guests. Is this the plot to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre again? As night falls, the couple's leering interest turns violent. March 18th. Then the last film we have Nope. Jordan Films' latest film is that he wrote and directed. Have we got any plot details? Nope. Aside from the cast and release date? Nope. Comes out July 22nd. Daniel Kaluuya, Kiki Palmer, and Stephen Yeun star. Okay. Halloween Ends. Man, 4 years after it, a coming-of-age film, dressing COVID. That is nothing I want out of a slasher film. Halloween Kills kind of ruined my interest, which, yeah, that's a real shame, but I'm going to see it, obviously, but I don't care like I would have. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'll be honest, I watched all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films recently. They're fucking terrible. And the fact that this one went to Netflix straight away doesn't inspire any confidence for me. The Black Phone sounds creepy. I actually kind of like the sound of that one. I'm kind of pulling for that one, and I did like the trailer. And again, the reviews are positive. Studio 666 is another one where, on paper, I'm like, what is this? This sounds like that, you know when Kiss made like films where it's like Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park? It sounds like a vanity project. Then I watched the trailer, and I loved the trailer. I wish I was into drugs, because there's people that are going to get so high and watch this movie and enjoy the hell out of it. It looks like a lot of fun, actually. I take it back. It looks like Tenacious D kind of Pick a Destiny vibe. So I'm excited. I actually want to see that one. Then we have X, which also looks really good. Again, I'm a bit of a hipster. If it's A24, I'll probably see it. I like the look of this one. Again, maybe it'll get that Texas Chainsaw Massacre itch scratched. Nope is the next one. Jordan Peele, I don't know, is he a bit of a false prophet, to be honest. Maybe that's a bit dramatic. I loved Get Out. I didn't really care for Us. I know nothing about this, so how's that going to get me excited? Nope. Yeah, so like it for me, it probably does. Like again, there's three films I'm interested in here, which is The Black Phone, Studio 666, and X. But out of all those, the one I think will genuinely be that sold me the most, that I think is going to be the best film out of all these, and I could see X being the better film possibly. But the one I'm most excited for out of all of them is The Black Phone. I love that premise. I'm really interested to see where that goes, and because of that, oh, the horror, the winner of that category is The Black Phone. But of course, we don't want all horrors. We want a bit of laughter as well, a bit of comedy. And for that, we have Send in the Clowns, the Comedy Awards. Man, remember, they still make comedies, remember? I Want You Back, February 11th from Amazon Studios. Peter, played by Charlie Day, and Emma, played by Jenny Slate. I'm allergic to this film already. I Want You Back, February 11th from Amazon Studios. Peter, played by Charlie Day, and Emma, played by Jenny Slate, are two 30-somethings who have each been left by their respective partners. Unwilling to admit that their relationships are over, and fearing that they will be forever alone, the two decide to team up to win their exes back by destroying their new relationships. Psycho. Easter Sunday, April 1st from Jay Chandradeshkar from The Broken Lizard. Stars Joe Coy as himself, set around a family gathering to celebrate Easter Sunday. The comedy will be based on Joe Coy's life experiences and stand-up comedy. Then we have Bros, from the director of Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Bad Neighbours, Nicholas Stroder, who co-writes along with Billy Eichner, comes a film about two men with commitment problems who attempt a relationship. Stars Eichner, Luke McFarlane and Jim Rash, coming September 30th. Then we have Oh Hell No! From Kithouse Sakurai, who directed Bad Trip and all episodes of The Eric Andre Show, mayhem erupts between two friends, Sherman and Will, when Sherman falls in love with Will's mother, much to Will's approval. This is a strange one. I say oh hell no like that for a reason. Jack Black plays Sherman. The other role was meant to be Ice Cube, which presumably is where it got the name of the movie. But he refused to get a COVID vaccine, so he left the film. And no one's replaced him. It's meant to come out July 1st. It definitely probably isn't. I don't know if that film's going to happen at all, to be honest. Then we have Ticket to Paradise from Al Parker, who directed Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. This film follows University of Chicago graduate Ren Butler accompanies her best friend Lily on a post-graduation jaunt to Bali. After Lily abruptly decides to marry a local, her divorced parents try to stop their daughter from making the same mistake they once made 25 years ago. Meanwhile, Ren stars in Bali for the festivities and in the process finds her own love with a local doctor. George Clooney and Julia Roberts star October 21st. Last one we get then. Next Goal Wins. Taika Waititi's mysterious film that's been in Cannes for 2 years now still has no clear release date, but expected to come out this year after reshoots replace Armie Hammer in the film with Will Arnett. A sports comedy drama film inspired by a 2014 documentary of the same name is about a Dutch-American football coach, Thomas Rongen, is tasked with turning the American Samoa national team, considered one of the weakest football teams in the world, into an elite squad. It stars Michael Fassbender and Elizabeth Moss and is expected out this year. Right. I'll be honest, this is one where I had to kind of make up the numbers. I Want You Back. Aside from the fact that it has Charlie Day and Jenny Slate, I have no interest in this. I like both of them though. Easter Sunday. Yeah, I don't know who Joe Coy is. Jay Chandler Deshkar, I know who he is, but it doesn't really endear me in any way to him. Bros, I do kind of have interest there. I like Nicholas Stoller. I like Billy Eichner. I'm interested in that. Oh, hell no. I'm going to say, oh, hell no to that, man. Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing about that film that really appeals to me. Same with Ticket to Paradise. Doesn't sound like my cup of tea. Next Goal Wins, on the other hand. I like Taika Waititi. That sounds like an interesting premise. They're giving Will Arnett work, and I always am for that. So because of that, the winner for me is Next Goal Wins. Then we are saying, hey, why leave your house? Why go to the cinema, man? Cinema's dead. Instead, why don't we bring it to the house? This is an award for streaming. Last year, oh god. This is what I mean why it's hard to give these awards, because then you look back a year and you're like, what did I do? I'm pretty sure one year I gave an award to Cats, saying it would win awards. Oh man. Last year I said The Little Things, which I think was just recency. I was like, I saw a trailer, it was out soon, I was like, ooh, this could be good. Oh, it wasn't really. It was like 7, but, you know, obvious. Then we have a couple of films here. Some of these actually are really good. They sound really good. Are really certainly bigger projects than most years. Again, the pandemic has really made streaming services grow a lot better. So the first one we have is The Grey Man. Russo brothers reteam with their Avengers writers, Christopher Marks and Stephen McFeely, for the most expensive Netflix film ever made, based on a novel by Mark Reno. It follows Court Gentry, a veteran CIA operative played by Ryan Gosling, who is portrayed by his own agency, forcing him to become a fugitive. Lloyd Hansen, a former colleague of his at the agency, played by Chris Evans, is sent to hunt him down. Anna de Armas and Billy Bob Thornton and Michael Gandolfini are also in the cast. It's set to come out this year. Here's the thing with a lot of these release dates. You won't hear about them until they're going to come out half the time. Especially with Netflix. So yeah, that sounds interesting. Then we have Havoc. From the director and writer of The Raid and The Raid 2, Gareth Evans, comes a new action film starring Tom Hardy. After a drug deal goes awry, a detective must find his way through a criminal underworld to rescue a politician's estranged son, while untangling a city's dark web of conspiracy and corruption. Forrest Whitaker and Timothy Olyphant also star, expected this year on Netflix. Another expensive venture for Netflix this year for its acquisition was when they purchased 2 sequels to Knives Out for $469 million, the first of which comes out this year. Ryan Johnson once again returns to write and direct. Daniel Craig's detective Benoit Blanc also returns, this time Dave Bautista and Edward Norton, Catherine Hahn and Kate Hudson are part of the ensemble. I'm just saying, if he's not able to do the voice work, I can fill in. No further details have been revealed, but it was filmed in Greece over the summer, potentially giving it a very different look than the original. Expected to debut at the end of the year. There's talk that it's going to play festivals by the end of the year and be released on Netflix. So there you go. Going away from Netflix now, on Disney Plus, we have Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, adapted from the TV series of the same name and billed as a live-action CGI hybrid that continues on the series. Akiva Schaffer, best known for his work with The Lonely Island, directs, and the Chipmunks will be voiced by Andy Samberg and John Mulaney. The early word on this is that it's going to have a very meta approach, and the apparent synopsis confirms this, as apparently the plot synopsis is that years after the Rescue Rangers TV series has ended, Chip and Dale must re-team to save a friend from video piracy. Expected early this year on Disney+. Also coming to Disney+, we have Disenchanted. Finally, Princess Giselle returns in the sequel to Disney's Enchanted. Disenchanted is set 15 years after her happily ever after. Giselle, Robert and Morgan move to a new house in the suburbs of Monroeville. The community is overseen by Malvina Monroe, who has nefarious intentions. Oh my god, this is very long. Right. It's a sequel to Enchanted. Amy Adams, Patrick Dempsey, and James Marsden all return. Expected to hit late this year on Disney Plus. It filmed in Ireland. Way up the lads. Hocus Pocus 2, another long-awaited sequel coming to Disney Plus. As the witches of Hocus Pocus, the Sanderson sisters return for the sequel. 29 years after the original, 3 high school students must work together to stop the Sanderson sisters, who return to present-day Salem. Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy all return. Also set for later this year. I'm assuming we're on Halloween, right? That makes sense. Another spooky, scary film, Evil Dead Rise. Director of the Hole in the Ground, Lee Cronin, brings us Evil Dead Rise. In Evil Dead Rise, a road-weary Beth plays an overdue visit to her older sister Ellie, who is raising 3 kids on her own in a cramped LA apartment. The sisters' reunion is cut short by the discovery of a mysterious book deep in the bowels of Ellie's building, giving rise to flesh-processing demons. Possessing, not processing, although I guess they process flesh to eat it. Flesh-possessing demons, and thrusting Beth into a primal battle for survival as she is faced with the most nightmarish version of motherhood imaginable. Not returning is Bruce Campbell. The film will also move the traditional setting of the franchise from a cabin in the woods to a more modern, high-rise apartment, set to debut on HBO Max this year. We also have Prey coming this year. Director of 10 Cloverfield Lane, Dan Trachtenberg, is the latest man to try and tackle the Predator franchise with Prey. The origin story of the Predator takes place in the world of the Comanche Nation 300 years ago. Naru, a skilled female warrior, fights to protect her tribe against one of the highly evolved predators to land on Earth. Amber Midthunder leads. The film is expected to forego a theatrical release and instead go to Hulu or Disney Plus Star internationally this summer. Age rating on this one is also a bit unclear. They said they're aiming for an R, but it could be cut to a PG-13. Make it an R, man. Please, if it's on stream, make it an R. Then we have Pinocchio. In fact, we have 2 versions of Pinocchio coming this year. The first comes to Disney Plus from Robert Zemeckis as their latest live-action remake of one of their classic films. Tom Hanks plays Geppetto, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt voicing Jiminy Cricket. Comes to Disney Plus later this year. The other version is a stop-motion musical adaptation from Guillermo del Toro and also Mark Gustafson, who's known for his stop-motion work. Ewan McGregor as the cricket, David Bradley as Geppetto, Christoph Waltz as the fox, among many others. Comes out December 2022. So, you know, they're probably both out there in December, probably, because isn't that always the way? Beavis and Butthead are also going to come for a new movie this year. They're back. The series is expected to be revived soon. No further details are available, but Mike Judge did recently show art showing an aged-up Beavis and Butthead, announcing that the film will arrive on Paramount Plus this year. Okay. Tough one. Let's go through all these. Grey Man. I'm interested in that. Because it sounds like it could be interesting. But then again, the last 2, 3, all the high budget films on Netflix are trash and I never watch. So I don't know. Havoc. I love The Raid. Anyone who makes The Raid, anyone involved in The Raid, I'll watch whatever you make. Guaranteed. That sounds interesting. An action movie on Netflix from the director of The Raid with Tom Hardy in it. Sign me up. I'm very interested. Knives Out 2. I love the first Knives Out. It made my top 10 in 2019. I'm interested in this. I'm very interested in this. This is definitely something that I'm really interested in. I hope they can recapture the original. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is one that I'm very interested in because it sounds so weird. But we'll see. Again, I need more to go on. Disenchanted. I haven't seen Enchanted. I intend to see Enchanted. Don't give out to me. I do want to see it. I just haven't yet. So I'm not going to get excited for Disenchanted. Hocus Pocus 2. I kind of feel the original is overrated, to be honest. So, sorry. Evil Dead Rise. Yeah, man, I'm going to miss Ash. I'm going to miss Bruce Campbell. But I did love Hole in the Ground. So it is interesting to me. I think a lot of the stuff comes to streaming is actually very interesting. This is a strong and tough category, I must say. Probably the strongest and hardest of all the categories so far. Then we have Prey, right? I don't like Predator. I think the first film is good, but a bit overrated. I thought the sequels were mostly trash. Predators is okay. But I love when they just go all out there with a weird premise. And Predator taking on Native Americans 300 years ago. Sign me up, man. I love it. Yeah, that's interesting to me. That's definitely one to watch. The Pinocchio films, don't really care about Robert Zemeckis' one. The Disney film is never one I've really gravitated towards. But the stop motion one from Guillermo del Toro, now that's now we're talking. Yeah, I saw a very short teaser of it and I kind of like the look of it. It's kind of weird. That's why I like it. Beavis and Butthead, I love Beavis and Butthead. Sign me up for a movie. It's been too long since I've seen those guys. Oh, tough one. Tough one. Honestly, there's like 5 or 6 films on this list that I want to see. I'm going to go with Knives Out 2. I'm going to go, yeah. Look, I like Knives Out 1. It made my list last year or 2 years ago. I think if it's anywhere as good as that one, it'll make my list again, personally. Then how about hipster films? Everyone's going to talk about Knives Out 2. Let's do hipster films for our second last category. And then, of course, we have the superhero category because we have the very opposite there of a hipster film. Hipster films you can tell your friends you watch, so it looks like you have a good taste in cinema. Last year we had The Green Knight, which I really did like, so it was a good choice. We have Alice. Kristen Verlinden writes and directs in her feature debut. A woman is enslaved on a 19th century plantation in Georgia. Upon her escape, she discovers that it is actually 1973. It stars Keke Palmer and expected for release March 18th. Again, especially with this category, some film could just come out of nowhere and be a hipster film, so you never know. Yeah, I might say something I heard about this one in a minute. The Northman, from Robert Eggers, director of The Witch and The Lighthouse, comes an epic revenge thriller that explores how far a Viking prince will go to seek justice for his murdered father. Stars Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Ethan Hawke. Slated for April 22nd. Next one is Don't Worry Darling, Olivia Wilde's second feature film, reunited with her with one of her Booksmart writers, Katie Silberman. The cast includes Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine, and Wilde herself, where an unhappy housewife in the 1950s discovers a disturbing truth while her loving husband hides a dark secret. Set for release September 23rd. Then we have Kimi, or Kimi, Steven Soderbergh's next film anyway. Kimi teams him with writer David Cope, who has written such films as Jurassic Park, War of the World, and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Another writer who you should really look up and be like, what the hell? He wrote everything. He's working on a much smaller film this time, though, where during the COVID-19 pandemic in Seattle, an agoraphobic tech worker discovers the evidence of a violent crime while reviewing data stream, and is met with resistance and bureaucracy when she tries reporting it to her company. To get involved, she realizes she must face her greatest fear by venturing out of her apartment and into the city streets, which are filled with protesters after the city council passes a new law restricting the movements of the homeless population. Man, that sounds very dense, doesn't it? Coming to HBO Max on February 10th. Then we have Tar. From director Todd Field, makes his first movie since Little Children comes Tar. Follows Lydia Tar, first ever female chief conductor of a major German orchestra. Kate Blanchett plays Lydia Tar. I said Tar a lot here. It's set for release October 7th. Last one in our category, Asteroid City. Isn't as radical as it sounds. It's a Wes Anderson film expected to release this year. A romantic comedy drama starring the usual Anderson collaborators. Seriously, if you can think of one, they're probably in it. And also the likes of Tom Hanks, Margot Robbie, and Bryan Cranston for a massive ensemble cast. Not much is known except for the fact it's rumoured to be a love story set in Europe. Okay. Alice was one apparently just debuted in Sundance. I heard it's okay. Honestly, it seems again like a film that could go either way. Apparently, it didn't go the best way it could have. Northman. I love Robert Eggers. I seriously do. Which was amazing. The Lighthouse was my favourite film of 2019. It's going to be a really tough one to beat. Olivia Wilde's Don't Worry Darling. Again, the plot synopsis doesn't do much for me, but I loved Booksmart. Again, that was like maybe in my top 10 of 2019 as well. I think it was maybe 9 maybe. But it wasn't number 1, so that's not going to do well. Kimi, Steven Soderbergh is someone who can kind of take or leave at times. This just sounds very dense. I'm sure it could be good. I'll probably check it out. But it's like 2.5 hours though. And that sounds like a lot for 2.5 hours, man. Tar sounds like dry Oscar film. I'm sure hipsters will be like, oh yeah, you don't know. This is the conductor of the German orchestra. Asteroid City, Wes Anderson. The hipsters love Wes Anderson. That's like their catnip, man. I say that with the clear acknowledgement that I put a Wes Anderson film on my top 10 of this year, which you can now find on YouTube. Top 10 of 2021. Yeah, again, Wes Anderson is someone though I can't take or leave. I am going to see this, but am I going to enjoy it? Maybe not. But I am sure that I'd probably enjoy The Northman. I love Robert Eggers' recent work. I think this looks great. I've seen a trailer for this where I haven't for most of the other ones, which really helps it. And I'm excited to see him take on a film of a bigger scale as well. So I'm really excited for that. But of course, forget that hipster stuff. Let's talk about superhero films, baby. Expect a lot of water here. Thanks to our sponsor. Water is going to be a big factor here because we're going to talk about Aquaman and all the other superhero films because last year, as it was named, Martin Scorsese, soon to be least favourite films of 2021. Come on, we can update that. That's a bit outdated. I guess that's an outdated cultural one if you want to finish your drink. Here we go. Ridley Scott's soon to be least favourite films of 2022, A.K.A. Marvel, DC, and whatever the hell else everyone else is doing. Alright, last year the Suicide Squad won. Yeah, Suicide Squad was pretty good, Spider-Man was pretty good. I'd give it to either of those. But let's see what's coming this year. First of all, The Batman. Matt Reeves delivers the latest interpretation of the Caped Crusader with Robert Pattinson donning the cowl during his second year of fighting crime. Batman pursues the Riddler, a serial killer who targets the elite Gotham City citizens. He uncovers corruption that connects to his own family, and during the investigation is forced to make new allies to catch the Riddler and bring the corrupt to justice. Paul Dano stars the Riddler, Zoe Kravitz plays Catwoman, and an unrecognisable Colin Farrell plays the Penguin. This nearly 3-hour epic lands March 4th. If you're still playing the drinking rules, where you drink when you hear Batman, god damn it man, you're about to get fucked up. Batgirl is also coming, not the only person from the Batman family that we're getting this year. We have Batgirl and we have Batman. Batgirl comes from Adil Al-Arbi and Bilal Fallah, directors of Bad Boys for Life and producers of the upcoming Miss Marvel. Comes Batgirl. Leslie Grace plays Barbara Gordon, a.k.a. Batgirl, the daughter of Jim Gordon, once again played by J.K. Simmons, who played Commissioner Gordon in the Snyder Cut of Justice League and the theatrical Cut of Justice League. Also returning is Michael Keaton as Batman, reprising his role from the Tim Burton series. Of course, our hero needs a villain, and for Batgirl, that is Firefly, played by Brendan Fraser. Long live the Renaissance. No firm date or plot details, but it's apparently coming to HBO Max this year. Of course, Michael Keaton will be back as Batman as well in The Flash. If you're wondering how such a thing is possible, the film is highly inspired by Flashpoint, with a plot where Barry Allen, played by Ezra Miller, travels back in time to prevent his mother's murder, which brings unintended consequences to his timeline. Plenty of rumours around this one, but we do know Ben Affleck is confirmed to return as Batman, along with the cinematic debut of Supergirl and the apparent return of Michael Shannon as Zod, despite being killed in Man of Steel. The film is written by Christina Hodson, who wrote Bumblebee and Birds of Prey, and is directed by Andy Muschietti, who gave us the It films. Speculation aside, what we do know for sure is that this is expected to sprint into cinemas November 4th. Of course, The Flash is the only one that's breaking universes this year, as Marvel puts Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, another film where fan speculation has run rampant, and the Multiverse of Madness in No Way Home from Spider-Man. You can hardly blame them considering the reaction to Spider-Man and the multiverse approach. Dr. Stephen Strange casts a forbidden spell that opens the doors to the multiverse, including an altered version of himself, whose threat to humanity is too great for the combined forces of Strange, Wong, and Wanda Maximoff. Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Wong, Chiwetel Ejiofor and Rachel McAdams all return from the first Strange film. Elizabeth Olsen will reprise her role as Wanda Maximoff. This will also be the welcome return of Sam Raimi to feature directing for the first time since 2013, as return to superhero cinema for the first time since Spider-Man 3. This one promises plenty of surprises when it drops May 6th. Then again, if you want something to take the kids to, there is also a superhero few films that you can take them to that are animated. It sounds a bit dark, for example, Doctor Strange, but you could check out DC League of Super Pets, which you can check out, where the Justice League are captured by Lex Luthor. Superman's dog, Krypto, the Rock, forms a team of shelter pets who were given superpowers. A hound named Ace, who, Ace the Wonder Dog, isn't it? That's Batman's dog eventually. I'm just trying to get you to drink now. Voiced by Kevin Hart. Who becomes a super strong and indestructible. A pig named PB, who can grow to giant size. A turtle named Merton, who becomes super fast. And a squirrel named Chip, who gains electric powers. From some of the team that worked on the Lego Batman movie. Comes to cinemas May 20th. Then we also have another animated film, but this one might appeal to a bit of a broader audience. You can check out Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, a sequel to the acclaimed 2018 film. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, goes on an adventure across the multiverse with Gwen Stacy, Spider-Man, and a new team of Spider people who must face a powerful villain. The film will have a major inclusion in Oscar Isaac as Miguel O'Hara. Spider-Man 2099, who was introduced in the post-credits of the last film. Lord and Miller, again, have input on this, which is going to have a second part dropping apparently next year. This first part, though, swings into cinemas October 7th. But first, before we move on to talk about the rest of the films, let's bring the thunder! Yeah, that's right, we're going to talk about Thor, Thor Love and Thunder, oh my god. And there I said Thor the God of Thunder, that would be a bit redundant, wouldn't it? Thor Love and Thunder, as Taika Waititi once again gives us his spin on the God of Thunder with Thor Love and Thunder. Chris Hemsworth returns as Thor, as does Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. More interesting though is the return of Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, with the promise that she may take on the mantle of Thor. Christian Bale joins the film as Gore the God Butcher, while the Guardians of the Galaxy will also be present, picking up after Avengers Endgame, striking cinemas July 8th. If you want more lightning though, you can check out Black Adam as The Rock finally gets his chance to be a hero, or more accurately, anti-hero, a spin-off to Shazam that will see the debut of the Justice Society of America, including Aldous Hodge as Hawkman and Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate. Directed by John Kalat-Serra, who recently gave us Jungle Cruise, the hierarchy of power in the DC Universe changes July 29th. If you want Black Adam, but you prefer Black Panther, then you can go to Wakanda once more, or the sequel to the smash hit from 2018, which unfortunately, because of the passing of Chadwick Boseman, raised the question of how Marvel can address his death, as they have said they will not recast T'Challa. Joe Robert Cole and Ryan Coogler return to write the film after writing the original, and Coogler once more directs. Much of the original cast returns with the addition of Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams, soon to have her own Disney Plus series with Ironheart. While far from confirmed, there is suggestion that she won't be the only new Marvel hero making their debut in this film when it comes out November 11th. Or will it come out November 11th? We'll get into that in a minute. But we go from one kingdom now to another as Aquaman, I told you, water, baby, our sponsor. Water. Well done. Get wet, baby. Damn. Take that out of context, don't you? Aquaman returns this year with James Wan returning to direct. Jason Momoa plays the King of Atlantis. When an ancient power is unleashed, Aquaman must forge an uneasy alliance with an unlikely ally to protect Atlantis and the world from irreversible devastation. Not much else is known about the film, but Yahya Abdul-Mateen will return as Black Manta, and Patrick Wilson will return as Ocean Master. But if you want a break from all the Marvel and DC stuff, and God knows there's a lot of it this year, you can instead check out The Secret Headquarters. From the directors of Project Power comes a film about a kid who discovers a secret headquarters under his home that seems to belong to a superhero. He shares it with his friends, and they start to believe that his estranged father might have a secret double life. Stars Owen Wilson, Michael Pena, and Jesse Williams. Comes out August 5th. And finally, we spoke about this last year, maybe even spoke about it 2 years ago as well. Samaritan. From the director of Overlord, Julius Avery, we get Samaritan. A young boy comes to the realization that a famed superhero who was thought to have gone missing after an epic battle 20 years ago may in fact still be around. As we mentioned, it was delayed many times. This stars Sylvester Stallone as the hero and is apparently coming out August 26th. Or is it? Who knows? And that is our last category, our superhero category. Whew. Again, as always in the last few years, there's a lot of superhero films. Right, let's go through them. The Batman looks amazing. I think Matt Reeves has done excellent work. I also have to give this credit, and this is sort of an underappreciated one for me, right? I really like that it's Batman in his second year. Like, we've got the origin story so many times. I like that this is kind of early on, but not quite there yet, Batman. On the other hand, how many times are we going to have a really, really dark Batman? I don't know. But it looks really good. I'm really excited for it. Yeah, I am really excited for it, actually. And again, I think it is just that it is relatively soon. That I'm like, I know what I'm getting now, just give it to me. Batgirl. We've got some set photos for this recently. I like the look of this, man. This looks like it'll be fun. I saw people ragging on the costume. I think the costume looks good based on the comic they're basing it on. And Brendan Fraser. Come on. And again, HBO Max, so you don't have to leave your house, so I'm happy with that. Then we have The Flash. We've done a lot of DC films, man. DC are having a big year, by the way. Like again, including Batgirl, 4 DC films, which is like a Marvel level. And DC are not on the Marvel level, really, are they? Yeah. God, I don't really like Ezra Miller as the Flash. I think it's too early for the Flashpoint stuff. This feels to me like an undeserved Spider-Man No Way Home. You know, whereas like they haven't built up to this point where it's like, hey, guess who's back? And they're just pulling from all over the place. I don't know. I'm intrigued and interested, but not necessarily excited. The first trailer didn't get me massively excited for it either. It just feels like they're kind of writing everything out that they've done. And I'm not even a massive fan of DC Universe, but it kind of feels like it just feels like you have to course correct because you fucked up so badly, and you're trying to bait us with like random bits of nostalgia. I don't know. Then again, Michael Keaton is Batman, you know. So I'm excited about that. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I have some similar qualms with this one actually, because I'm really interested in it, but I really worry that they've learned the wrong lessons from Spider-Man No Way Home, where they're like, oh, what about this character? Hey, look, it's the X-Men. Fantastic Four, another universe. Wow! You know, I'm kind of worried that it might be a bit of that. But I like Doctor Strange after the Avengers movies. I'm really excited for him now. Like that he's kind of a darker, more established character. I want this kind of creativity. And Sam Raimi, man. I'm really interested in that. And also Wanda's in this, and I think Wanda's going to be an interesting character to catch up to now in the MCU. So, yeah, very excited for this one. Might be my most anticipated of the Marvel movies this year. We have DC League of Super Pets. Talking animals in kids' movies. It's like, come on, man. This is like, they're all talking animals and superheroes. So again, it has a superhero connection. That's why it's here. Otherwise, I'd have no interest in it. It's probably the bottom of this list. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, like Spider-Verse was amazing. One of the best animated films maybe ever. I really loved it. Again, the trailer didn't do much to sell me on it. That's probably the problem. And again, the only thing that gives me pause here is like, there's more to Spider-Man than a Spider-Verse of characters, you know. So I'm hoping we get something decent out of this. I'm hoping it's not just more of the same. So there's a bit of reservation there for me. Thor: Love and Thunder. I loved Thor Ragnarok. I like Taika Waititi's work. Jane Foster coming back, I'm on board for. I actually like Natalie Portman. A lot of people don't seem to for whatever reason. And Christian Bale in a Marvel movie. Like that, oh man, if you can get him involved, I'm in. So like, I'm interested in this. I'm hoping it's not all, you know, kind of light humor and fluff. I'm hoping there's some more depth to it than that. But yeah, I'm interested. And again, the Guardians of the Galaxy, that's going to be fun to see them interact with Thor. They were highlighting the Avengers movies. Black Adam, yeah, it kind of seems to me like a rock vanity project, I'll be honest. The footage, there was some cool stuff in it that we saw, but also, again, it's like, it just feels like The Rock massaging his ego, to be honest. Whereas, like, that's right, I'm here, now I'm the most powerful man, and it's like, oh, alright, man, come on. Again, I don't know. And again, I'm not sure with this one. I like Shazam, but it also, it's like, let's be honest, it's barely related to Shazam, really, until they actually meet. So yeah, not one of the more anticipated superhero films. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I would have been way more impressed or interested in this before Chadwick Boseman's passing, of course, unfortunately. Yeah, there's not, like, I honestly, I feel like as much as they're trying to do the right thing and not recasting T'Challa, I think that's a mistake. I think it's too soon to get a new Black Panther man set up, basically. Yeah, the film's also had major production problems, by the way. That's what I was hinting at earlier. It's been delayed multiple times because of injury, and now it's been, I think Letitia Wright caught COVID again. Or COVID for the first time. She's an anti-vaxxer as well, apparently. Meant to come out November 11th. Apparently that's to stop filming as recently as last week. I mean, this film is probably cursed. To be honest, I don't think it's coming out this year. I think it's going to swap with something. That's my theory. I don't think we're seeing Black Panther this year. That's a prediction. We'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll eat my words. Aquaman and the Last Kingdom. I didn't really care for the first Aquaman. There's not enough there for me to base and get excited for this one. So I don't know. Wait, is there more than 4 DC movies out this year? Batman, Flash, Batgirl, Aquaman, Black 5 if you include. Jesus Christ, DC, you've lost your damn mind. Oh my god. Alright, well maybe, hey, this might be the year they turn around. I hope I eat my words next year. I honestly do. But yeah, Aquaman. Yeah, I didn't love the first Aquaman, so we'll see. Secret Headquarters. Whatever. That's also what I'll say about Samaritan. Whatever. So for me, it's like there's the ones I'm excited for here. Doctor Strange is probably the most excited I am. But I'm intrigued by Flash. I'm interested in Spider-Verse. I'm interested in all the Marvel stuff as well. There's stuff there that I'm interested in overall. Except Black Adam is actually probably my least anticipated, which is surprising. But for me, undoubtedly, the most excited I am for a superhero film this year is the Batman. And maybe it's because I've seen enough of it, and maybe because it's soon. But either way, it's my most anticipated superhero film of the year. But before we go, I'm going to do my top 10 films of the year. So, my top 10 of 2022. Let's go through it. What are my most anticipated films of the year? Here we go.
Number 10.
The wait is over.
Hello, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
Number 10, Jackass Forever. Right, this one comes out really soon, so it's kind of weird having it in my top 10. But what can I say? I'm a really big Jackass fan. I'm excited to see what they have done now with, you know, a decade to work on ideas, and also the introduction of a new cast. I'm kind of interested to see if the old guys still got it and if the new guys are going to step up. Again, anytime I see these in films, it's an enjoyable experience, and because of that, it's on my top 10 list.
Number 9.
Havoc, from director Gareth Evans, as mentioned. He directed the Raid films, which I love. If he's making a new action film, there's no way I'm not going to be interested in it. And the fact he's got Tom Hardy involved in it, doubly so. I mean, anyone involved with the Raid, I will watch something you make forever. The fact that he's made a big action film on Netflix has my attention and my interest enough to put it in my number 9 spot.
Number 8.
The papers call him the grabber.
I wish you wouldn't call him that.
You don't actually believe that story, do you? Because he can't hear you, and he doesn't really take kids that safe.
The Black Phone. Of all the horror films coming out this year, this is the one that I think has the most potential or promise right now. I thought the trailer looked really good. I thought the concept is really creepy and fucked up. And there was apparently some positive buzz coming out of Fantastic Fest. So, yeah, just that image of Ethan Hawke looking like that guy. I'm like, I want to see this. Yeah, definitely one that I want to see. in 2022.
Number 7.
Don't Worry, Darling. Yeah, Olivia Wilde made Booksmart. I loved Booksmart. It was one of my favourite films the year it came out. I don't know, will it be a case of lightning striking twice? It has a very good cast. Plot doesn't do much for me, to be honest, but, you know, I think if you looked at the plot of Booksmart, it wouldn't work either. But yeah, I like Booksmart enough. It's pretty much booked its spot on this list based on how much I liked their previous film, and hopefully that won't be a bad choice.
Number 6.
Yeah, wow. Scorsese is always one to watch, obviously. But he's got a Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro in the same film, which excites me. I really like the book this was based on. I think having a film that basically he seems to have a blank check on, like it's apparently gone well north of 200 million budget, which who the hell is letting Scorsese to do that? Apparently Paramount and Apple TV Plus. Yeah, I mean, one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, with a fantastic cast, adapting a good source material with seemingly totally free reign. How can you not be excited by that?
Number 5.
Okay, so what are you doing here? I mean, I thought I'd never see you again.
Want to get out of here?
Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, yeah. I mean, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was one of the best comic book films of all time, in my opinion. One of the best animated films, certainly. Certainly one of my favourites, I should say. The question is, how do they build on that? And I'm interested to see how they do that. I'm hoping it's not going to feel like the same film over and over again. I'm hoping there's going to be a bit more to offer. But, I mean, the animation style alone is refreshing and interesting enough that I'm very excited to see. And based on how much I love the first one, I'm hoping, again, that I love this one just as much.
Number 4.
Knives Out 2. I mean, I thought the first Knives Out was just excellent. It really was one that I could actually, surprisingly, as a murder mystery, couldn't watch more than once because I thought it was such a sharply written script. Is Knives Out 2 going to really manage to replicate it? Because really, you've had to throw out everything you had in the first one except for Benoit Blanc, played by Daniel Craig. But honestly, that's enough for me. More Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. I'll be happy to see that when it comes into cinemas in 2022. But also we have Dave Bautista, Edward Norton, Catherine Hahn. I mean, it's got an amazing cast. And it's coming to Netflix, so I probably don't have to get off my couch, which, hey, that's even better too.
Number 3.
I will avenge you, Father! I will save you, Mother! I will kill you, Fiona!
I will avenge you, Father. I will save you, Mother. I will kill you, Fiona.
Northman. Robert Eggers has made some of my favourite films of the last couple of years. The Witch, I loved. Lighthouse was my favourite film of 2019. Here, he's making a massive, more epic film. And that's awesome. I'm hoping he's going to get that same kind of weird style and that really puts you in the world that he creates. I thought that was the case with The Witch. I really thought it was the case with The Lighthouse. It feels like you're really watching cinema and you're really in the minds of those characters. And I just love the richness of how he writes a script. And because of that, I'm so excited for The Northman this year.
Number 2.
Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. There's a lot of superhero films on my list, to be honest, but the Marvel one that I'm most excited for this year is Doctor Strange. With a few reservations. I'm slightly worried that it's going to be a lot of Easter eggs and like, hey, remember this character? And I'm hoping I'm not wrong. I'm sorry, I'm hoping I am wrong, I should say. But yeah, Doctor Strange is a character that I really liked. Again, I think coming off the Avengers films, he was one that I was really interested to see what their solo film would be like, because it feels like they finally cracked the character after what I thought was a kind of a middle-of-the-road solo film. Also, we have the return of Elizabeth Olsen, the return of Sam Raimi to directing a superhero film, who of course made the Spider-Man trilogy. How can you not get excited on that alone? Anyway, that's definitely what I'm really looking forward to. As far as the Marvel stuff goes, my second most anticipated superhero film of the year is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which leaves one spot left, and as I said, that was my second most anticipated superhero film of the year.
And my number 1 most anticipated film of 2022.
You're part of this too.
Hands up! Stay still!
How am I part of this? Oh, you're really not as smart as I thought you were.
The Batman. God, I feel like such an obvious fucker. But It's goddamn Batman. And it really looks like, yeah, that's the Batman murdering people nearly. It looks really dark. And look, I can go back and forth on dark Batman, but this looks good. It looks like there's a lot of stuff going on in it. It finally feels like a Batman movie where it isn't just, here's our villain, here's our other villain. It feels like we're in Gotham City, which is grimy and interconnected with its criminal underworld. And again, I could be totally wrong on this. I'm just basing this on the trailers, but I'm loving what I'm seeing. I think Matt Reeves is an excellent director. I've loved some of his Apes films as well. The cast is amazing and kind of weird. And yeah, I guess I have to sound really stupid again and say it's Batman. I'm always going to be excited for Batman. No matter whether it's dark or light, give me Adam West, give me Christian Bale, give me Batman, and chances are I'm going to be happy. And look, if it's not very good, there's like another 2 or 3 Batman films probably being made right now. So you won't have to wait long until they get it right. And that is my top 10 most anticipated films of the year, and that is pretty much every film this year after we cover the Culties. Of course, there's only one thing to do, and that is give away the titular Cultie. His head came off. His arm I knocked his arm off. Oh, there's paint in this, that's the way. This is not a bit, I'm totally fucking this up. That's right. Behold his magic and glory. Look at those golden buns on this award. Ladies and gentlemen, the first ever physical Cultie. What an honour it is to bestow this on the film and won its category. It was my most anticipated film of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, to the Batman goes the first ever Cultie award. Wow, what an honour for Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson. They must be so excited. I can't wait to dump this on their doorstep and face charges for trespassing. Wow. We'll just give it up. And you know what? I'll just leave it here on the mantelpiece, nice and gently. So it's broken again. For them to pick up. I'm sure they'll swing by here in the press tour, as you know, they always pop in when they're in the neighbourhood. But anyway, that is the Culties for another year. The 4th Culties. On a serious note, how awesome. 4th year doing this. Glad to do it. Really fun. Hope you enjoy this. If you did enjoy this, be sure to give it a like. Please do. Because I love doing it. It does take a lot of work. So please, if you did enjoy this, give it a like. And of course, take to the comments and let me know what is the film you're most anticipating this year. Or did I get it wrong? Did I say that a film is anticipated when you think it's going to suck? Or vice versa? More importantly, this isn't something I just do once a year. The podcast is still going to go. Podcast is back really like crazy soon. I swear. We're going to go through the news. We're going to have topics. And way more stuff is coming too. We're working on some great stuff for this year. If you don't want to miss it, be sure to press that subscribe button. Either way, that has been the 4th annual Culties. That has been our podcast. That has been our show. Thanks to our sponsors, Water, Get Wet. What a dumb bit. Either way, that has been the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Please come back, because I have been your cult leader, Tom Pat. And remember, you can't spell cult without you. See you next year. Although sooner than that, please don't. Please come back next time.